Hello, camera people. I'm live. I'm Dirk the Red Panda, and this is Password. So, this is a bit impromptu of a stream, but then again, I've been pretty impromptu with just life in general. If you see my Twitter posts, follow at Dirk the Red Panda. Of course, it's on this side of on the whatever screen. I was about to call it a camera. Jeez. It's been quite a day. Figuring things out, talking with family again before this. Felt very wholesome. And it gave me a new burst of energy, and I thought, might as well finish up our password update, because that's the only game that is on my schedule that has not been finished on my channel, so, or at least finished to the current update. I'm just going to double check the other ones to see maybe if I can turn this into a double stream, because I probably might fast forward through certain parts that are in the same episode as the Tyson version of this, because this is update 0.25, and 0.25, day 13, whatever it is, it's pretty much the same from, like, I would guess about, like, scene 3 onwards, but who knows. I'm also going to add a thumbnail to this, which for some reason Streamlabs just updated for me a few seconds ago, but did not include that. Good job, Streamlabs. Anyway, here we go. Let's hear from the crowd. How am I? Bunny Boy is the first to ask a question. And I will say to that, I am doing meh. I'm doing pretty meh today. I should have gotten up earlier. Way earlier. Like I said, my Twitter post did not show the best of my waking up abilities. Okay. Details, come on. Why won't anything work? Public game title. So yeah, earlier today and some of yesterday, I spent working on my Ocean Avenue main menu art. I decided to redo it and make it a little more minimalistic, just to kind of make it easier to look at, I would say, and just a bit more calm. The other one just feels a bit clogged, I would say, in terms of stuff, and the art isn't the best proportionally or, you know, skill-wise, so I decided to take another crack at it. Who knows, every update I might update the art. Oh god, wouldn't that kill me. But, you know, first few updates, you're kind of just playing around with what you got. Update 2 is going to have new, GUI, I guess you could call it. What is it called? The GUI art. I also probably have to fix a little setting on there. But, god, I should distract myself as I try to look for the thumbnail. Where the heck is it? Password. There we go. And just going to add this to the password playlist. And save. Here we go. Why you are mem? Why am I mem? I don't know, man. Only time can tell why I'm mem. Oh no, did my chat just die? That's strange. I guess I'll have to recache the stream, whatever it's called. Restart stream labels. Oh god. Just gonna test it. Yeah, it's not a big deal. I'll just go update the cache. The collide cache of the current page. If anybody remembers that. Okay, now it's starting to get really... Oh, there we go, it works. Tiushiman replies first and says hello and a long oh. Hello, I saw your post about the election. Stuff happened today. That was another thing that surprised me when I woke up. I fell asleep in the middle of the day, got up later in the middle of the day, and found out the election is over, I guess. Or at least projected, you know. Math is weird. It's like, you can't officially like say every single vote has been in, but it's like 99%. Whatever. Quite a weird time we are in. Oh, it's great to see that you like my visual novel. Let's just say I'm only like a third of the way through writing the scripting for it, and I need to make 2-ish, maybe a little more than that, CGs for the next update, and write the rest of it. I don't have a set date on when that will be out. Like, since this is like the first 2 or so updates of the novel, it's like I'm still just figuring out my life schedule around and what I can do. If I was like 5, or maybe not even 5, like if I was like maybe 10 or enough updates in that was like a big name in a sense, like where it got a big enough following, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna have to make more of a schedule for the updates. But yeah, nobody's asked like, when's it coming? When's it coming? It's not like I'm getting a huge fan following for it yet, so I'm not worrying about that yet. Plus I have school to worry about. So I should probably set a table of contents at the bottom of this description. Table O contents. Ah, no, that's not funny of a joke. Table of contents. Intro to video. I'm gonna say about 8 minutes. Give myself a minute to talk once more. And then I'm also gonna add little clip markers in the video where I'm like, okay, I might skip this. I don't know, man. Last episode, I said, okay, I'm gonna do little chapter markers to show, okay, I'm just gonna skip this part in the next video, but refer to this video for reference. I don't know, man. It's been 2 weeks since I played it, so might as well read it again. I'll be up all night trying to read it. And Merrick is in here. Hi. Angel Sebastian says hello. Zephyr says sup. And I don't know who else. Joshua Barnes? Yeah. Oh god. What is this screen? Yeah, okay. Kibiya has an update. Kibiya's my first option. Second option would have been Tennis Ace. Just double checking. I mean, I don't want to add any new novels at this time because I'm stressing with school, so... You know, I'm not really... I don't know, I'm not really going to put too much priority in, you know, trying to add new novels until maybe I get like a break in school or get a big break in my novel. Yeah, Tennis Ace has not updated. The other one is the Smoke Room. That's the closest one I would assume to be an update, because that one updates frequently. Nope, no update. Okay, we're gonna continue with this. Yeah, school does suck indeed. Oh, Jesus, did I just rant for another 2 minutes? Okay, screw it. We're starting at 10 minutes. I just lost 3 viewers from my rant. Sad tear. Nah, I can't though. Whatever. Here we go. So last update, we did Tyson's Day 13. This time we're going to do Dean's Day 13. And as I had the other windows, we are going to read this one in full because I feel like it and there's no other updates out that I normally play. I might start new series at the end of the year though, so if anybody is looking for Dirk to add some more flavor to his channel, maybe at the end of the year when school quarter is over. Anyway, 8 seconds left. Gotta start the stream right now. Here we go. In 2, 1. Okay, shoot, we're starting. That was a bit impromptu, but yes, we have to start the 10-minute mark. Otherwise, I'll be executed by the comment section below. Alright. I found myself mouthing the words now. Just shy of them, or just shy of saying them myself. My head hurt, my heart ached, but despite it all, I was able to get to sleep. Day 13. Oh, crap. There we go. Had to save it. I was cold. Not in a way that throwing on more clothes could fix, but something chilling at my core. When I opened my eyes, it was the crack of dawn, at least based off the light slowly filtering in from the window. That cold feeling was still clung to me, almost like a blanket I couldn't just shrug off. I would have thought that Oswin being out in the open would have made me feel better. One less secret weighing me down that should have been helping. If anything, I felt worse. My throat was dry, my fur tingled, and I got up to have a shower. Not that it did much good. The water was hot, and I sighed out, basking in it, but the feeling lasting only while I was under the water. I wondered if Orlando would hate me for thinking of him right now. Not as a friend, but as a convenient heater. Made all the worse that he made a point of sacrificing his own happiness for mine, leaving me a mess of what to think. Obviously, I cared for Orlando as more than just a heater, and more than just a regular friend, too. With a sigh, I resigned to lay on my bed, staring at the ceiling. The cold transitioned into a numbness that covered my entire body. Something that felt like I was covered by something matting my fur together. Closing my eyes, I wondered where things stood after last night. But the sudden onset of pain coursing through my head made me yelp, clutching my head. There were so many questions, but not enough answers. Oswin was around, so maybe the focus could be on him instead of me. It gave me some freedom to think, for people to leave me alone. But was that what I really wanted? Maybe I wanted someone to give me attention, to notice me. To save me. Or to save me. The sound that came out of my mouth was feeble, tired, an elongated whine that registered as a sound a wounded animal would make. Sitting upright as I heard a knock on my door, I wondered who it could be at this hour. Come in? Sal slipped in quickly into my room and closed the door behind him, keeping his gaze elsewhere. Hey, Sal.
Yes, hello.
He seemed to go to speak a few times, thinking over his words before settling on what he wanted to say.
I wanted to see if you were awake. I thought you might be.
Shuffling closer, he stopped halfway between the door and my bed, quickly looking me over.
You know I am. Normally up, I mean.
What's wrong, Sal?
Me? Oh, right. I just wanted to check in on how you were going. You weren't at dinner. You're likely hungry, and there's that other boar.
Jesus Christ. I can't read. Oswin?
Right.
He trailed off there, looking uncertain. There's so many things that Inching closer, he stopped just shy of the bed.
Orlando. He came to me last night. For all the panic that was going on, he came to me in tears.
The idea made me sit up, frowning. Sal sat down carefully on the bed, rubbing his arms.
He's terrified, but he knows when to seek help. He wanted grounding and reassurance things are going to be okay.
Okay? Sal sighed, shaking his head.
Why haven't you done that? If not me, then Tyson. Or Orlando. Haas or Roswell. Anyone.
I didn't have an answer. Instead, just sitting there with my mouth parted, ready to defend myself, but no words came.
My concern is that if I don't press you to talk about it, you never will.
But what if I don't want to talk about it? Flashing him a wry smile, he stared at me, expressionless for a few moments before standing again.
Fair enough. Sorry to have bothered you, Dave.
He walked towards the door and quickly left before I had much time to really process what he was doing. Alone once again, I sighed out, shifting so I was comfortable on my bed again. I listened to the sound of the house, the creaking walls, and the sound of birds outside my window. More time passed and I could hear the others moving about, tiredly greeting one another. Slipping out of my room, I wandered downstairs, following in the wake of my friends who seemed to be heading towards the dining room for breakfast. What do you think you're doing? Rubbing his eyes as I took stock of what was happening, I saw Oswin sitting at the table across from Roswell, clutching his coffee much in the same way I would. Oh, nothing. Roswell was helping himself to some cereal eyes. Some cereal eyes. Roswell was helping himself to some cereal, eyes focused on the older boar opposite him. Just eating breakfast. Oswin's eyes bulged as the last few crumbs of cereal fell out of the box, signaling that there was nothing left. Here we go again. Shit. Wait, did somebody say the N-word in this chat? Oh god. I'm looking at the comments just to see what people have been saying. Yes, things have been kind of well, just kind of ups and downs with school. Had a huge mental brick this past week with one of the assignments. Still not understanding it more than I did before, but my classmate came in clutch, or my project mate came in clutch with it. And I might ask him more about it, so I might start the homework that I didn't start on. It's a weird class. But yeah, that's been the main source of my stresses. Other than that, just kind of took a toll on my sleep. That's about it. But next question is, how long has the stream been going on for? 20 minutes and 20 seconds. Now 23 seconds. Yep, it's been a decently short stream so far. I'm gonna read the whole update. I should have mentioned that before. I wasn't too sure, but I'm just saying screw it. I'm gonna read this whole update like normal. So no skipping. But yeah, we're just started. I was just wondering when somebody said, Jesus don't like the N-word, I'm like, what? Somebody said it? God, that's awful. Yes, cereal eyes, the best type. Indeed. I'm finally here for once. Glad to be back, mates. Been a while. Great to see you again, Nicholas. Alright, so those are all the comments for now. I'll get back to reading and try my best to balance out the comments with the reading. With my tired ass coffee cup. Good morning. Try to do the most tired Dave look ever. I don't know if I'm pulling it off. Good morning. My greeting went ignored as Oswin's jaw was clenched, and the continued staring at Roswell. The boar, I'm assuming. The others seemed to pay them no mind, some taking a seat at the table while a couple of others went into the kitchen. That better not have been the last box, Roswell. I would have thought this cereal was for kids based on the slogan. Don't know why you're kicking up such a fuss over it, Mr. Hammond. God, I love this scene. Why, you little Benson! Oswin hollered, looking around quickly for the butler. A few of us flinched, but went back to groggily sitting at the table. Iced coffee, that is. Oh, wait. That I've, been digesting coffee for the past 2 weeks. Oh, that's what your context was. Yeah, I'm not a coffee person. I'm more of an energy drink type of person. Like, yerba mate type of energy drink person. Not like Monster or anything. I wonder if the cereal is Trix. It could be. So, sure enough, Benson emerged. A few of us flinched but went back to groggily sitting at the table. Sure enough, Benson emerged with the rest of those missing at the table, and food was brought along with them. Yes, Master Oswin? Did you give Roswell that cereal box? I did not, Master Oswin. Is there a problem? A problem? There won't be so long as there's another box remaining. Oh, then by all means, you're welcome to check while I attend our guests. You're the butler. You check. Ah, but what host would I be if I neglected the needs of our guests? No reply came from Oswin. Instead, just looking between his butler and Roswell with a scowl. Now, if you were that bothered by the lack of your preferred breakfast, you have 2 legs of your own, sir. You are welcome to check the pantry. A few moments later, and he stood suddenly, grunting once before stomping over to the kitchen and throwing the door open to disappear in the adjoining room. Now, then. Master Roswell, did you really need to provoke Master Oswin like that? Roswell's the little shit online that will just provoke all the people that get easily peeved. Roswell's a troll, like, low-key he's gonna be an internet troll.
Not really.
Good morning, Master Dave. Did you require coffee? Is Oswin gonna be alright? That is something I would worry yourself over. That's something I wouldn't worry yourself over. Yeah. Oswin piped up from nearby, keeping his eyes on the food he'd brought out. It was like this at dinner, too. Roswell asked him a bunch of questions and figured out what buttons to press really quickly.
Hey, after last night, I just had a lot of pent-up curiosity that I figured he'd make a good person to vent to.
By asking him questions non-stop, he looked ready to throttle you. Had Master Roswell not been as slippery as he proved, he might have. You wouldn't really let that happen, though, would you? Of course not, Master Dave. I have a shotgun on me at all times. I may serve Master Oswin as his butler, but I am not about to let him bring harm to our guests. Or act as a child. Benson continued on, and Roswell started eating his cereal while I grabbed a piece of toast.
Going without coffee today? Oh, that's so unlike you.
Dean turned into a valley girl.
Oh, that is, so totally unlike you, Dave. Oh my gosh, Dave.
Huh? Oh, right. Here's my coffee. Chugging. Chugging is fun. When you're in college, you learn to chug. Uh-huh. Oh, right. Pouring myself a mug from the pot on the table, I had the sugar and milk passed to me carefully by Orlando. Steady. Steady. Thanks. Oh, sure. No problem. Yeah. Okay. I caught Sal nudging Dean, who seemed to pick up that he was meant to do something.
Oh, right. Orlando, how have you been holding up?
Good?
He knows, Orlando.
Oh, then. Could be better. I'll be fine, I think.
You sure? Don't need, I don't know, something to help things along? A talk? A distraction? Perhaps some sleeping pills, if you will? My sleeping pills?
I sank in my chair. Part of me felt this was just for show, or to highlight where I was failing. Well, I talked to Sal about stuff last night. But if we've got a plan for something to do later, I'm interested in keeping my mind busy.
Well, good. How about we round up people and just, I don't know, maybe we could bust out a big game that we all can play. You know, like the one we started on day 4 but never really ever got back to. Because plot convenience.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd like that. They continued talking, and Orlando's spirits seemed to pick up. Turning my attention to Haas and Tyson, they seemed to be already talking about something.
I'm telling you, you're picking one today.
I'm mixing it with Roswell's voice.
Haas, clear your throat. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, you're picking one today.
If you're lucky.
What are you two talking about?
Nothing important.
Nothing important? Jeez, you have a long way to go.
It's just whatever it is you call it. I don't even have a favorite show yet. And you're asking me to pick a favorite character from everything you've watched?
Which is a very important step in the process, big dog.
I don't think you should call him that, Haas.
Why not?
Ty doesn't. Tyson looked at me funny, somewhat confused.
What?
I thought. And with. the dog thing? Ty grumbled, rubbing his head. Rub, 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 rub. I don't know why I said it like that. My brain thought of it as an odd thing until I realized rubbing your head's a normal thing. Maybe I'm weird. Hold on.
He's your friend. You should know what he's like.
I forced it on him and made him accept it.
But
How? That's a secret.
He was an annoying asshole mostly. But it's fine. I can take it like a man. I have a good enough incentive to anyway.
Oh. Okay. He gave me a hard stare before nodding, looking back to Haas.
Anyway, I'm not picking one.
Oh, come on. It's not that hard. Even Dave has one. Even if his tastes can be refined, or if they need to be refined. God, you stupid peasant. Stupid anime peasant.
Wait. Refined?
He's saying you have shit taste, pup.
I don't.
Come on, everybody likes Evangelion. That's like basic B-word levels of anime tastes. And then you go off talking about how much you like what is it? What the fuck was the name of the show? What was it? It was The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. It's like, and then you talk about how much you like The Disastrous Life of Psyche K? Oh god, you have such basic tastes.
Oh god. In all honesty, my taste for anime is basic as hell. And I also like Haikyuu because volleyball. And you know, my VN's gonna be pretty volleyball centered. It's not gonna be like 100% volleyball like Haikyuu where it's like feels like every single episode or it's not like everything focuses around volleyball. The majority of like the characters' directions maybe, but within that there's gonna be character development. Think tennis ace, but different scenarios, I guess. Not trying to copy the tennis ace like storyline. I just mean like the setup of or the type of story it's gonna be. You know what I mean, guys. Tennis ace they can play. Uh-oh. House said the trigger word. I bet it's autocorrect. Haas said the trigger word. Wait for it. Yeah. Give me a good dose of despair any day. And the sad thing is, I'm terrible at knowing what anime is or what's an anime, so I don't know that's an anime. Anyway, I don't.
Oh, you do, but that's alright. Different strokes and all that.
There was something else weighing me down now. the judgment of what I find appealing and what I like. Normally we go back and forth, not just Haas and I, but Orlando and Roswell too. But now with everything else, it was just wearing me down. Oh, right. Of course. I chuckled, focusing just on my coffee instead. Dave, listen. Dave, listen. You want to watch anime with us later? Oh god, Tyson. I could hug you right now. You're being so dorky.
Oh, already taking the initiative? Gonna show him your favorites?
Dude, what the hell? I'm allowed to invite who I want. Thanks, but... No thanks. I flashed him a weak smile as I stood.
Got plans already?
Yeah, I got some plans. Not gonna spoil them for people who don't know yet, but... plans. In this VN. Something like... something like that. But, maybe I could join you guys later? Ty sighed and leaned back in his chair, rolling his shoulders. Sure, pup. Sure. Nodding to him, I stood up from the table and wandered down to the kitchen with my mug in hand. Even having missed dinner, I wasn't all that hungry, but I wanted the excuse to get away from the table. Okay, I know what Danganronpa is. I'm assuming you're mentioning all characters from Danganronpa? Because Monokuma, I think, is from Danganronpa. And I know that because somebody tried to suggest them for March Madness, and they got in the suggestions, but yeah, I don't know. Times be weird, man. Somebody thought they were Best Boy. I don't know why, but I guess. Anyway, new scene. Where is that blasted? As I entered, I looked to Benson, who was off to the side, watching as Oswin dug around in the pantry. Pay him no mind, Master Dave. Master Oswin is sourcing his own breakfast. He straightened, setting a colorful box on the counter and sighing out. That boy is lucky there was another box. Perhaps this is a sign that you should leave the children's cereal for. The children, sir. I'm a grown man, and if I want sugar cereal for breakfast, then I'll be damned if I can't make that decision freely. But what about your teeth? Or... eggs? Eggs. And back... Never mind. He does have a point, sir. Scrambled eggs is something manageable. Chocolate cake. Chocolate cake? You're not having chocolate cake for breakfast. Why not? Do you really think that's an appropriate meal choice for the first thing in the morning? Why, glad you asked, Benson. I do. Really? Why? I thought cake was for, you know, dessert. Or whatever. Be that as it may, sir, I am not making you chocolate cake for breakfast. Then sugar cereal? No! It's like, chocolate cake? No. It's like, chocolate cake? No. Sugar cereal? No! Sugar. No! God damn it, Oswin. Oh, you're the worst. Cake is good at any time of the day. Yeah, if it's leftovers, I guess. Yeah, if you're really craving it in the morning after like a hangover or something, sure. I don't know, I haven't had cake in ages. Jesus, when's the last time I've had cake? I miss cake. I should just go buy one just because I'm sad and feel like it. But God, I need to buy those like frosted sugar cookies now. Those are the things I crave the most and haven't bought. Maybe if they're still like left out from Halloween and they're still like for sale. Maybe. But I guess not. No, I want chocolate cake. Oh God. The chat cannot handle themselves. They want chocolate cake now. All right, back to the reading. But now we're back to scrambled eggs. Right? Please? Do you want eggs, Master Dave? I quickly shook my head, heading over to the coffee machine instead to contemplate if I needed another cup or should go without. Watch Dave's, like, breakfast only be coffee, and that's why he's, like, having crazy hallucinations with shit. Or, well, at least having all these crazy dreams and stuff. Like, he just needs to get something in his stomach, man. Stop just drinking coffee all the time. Dave, how are you feeling? Fine, I guess. You don't sound fine, my boy. My boy, you don't sound fine. Oh God. Anyway, I'm fine, really. How did last night go? Fine. I shot him a look and he gave me one back, accompanied with a raised brow. Should it not have been? No, I guess going fine is a good thing? Master Roswell entertained Master Oswin with enough questions to keep most of your friends satisfied with his presence here. I turned to Oswin for clarification and he nodded. Quite a mind in that head of his. His aptitude for being able to find what people take is truly worrying, however. Like I said, Roswell is one of those internet trolls. I swear to God, like, if you saw, like, social media accounts for each of these characters, Roswell will be the guy who pisses off everybody. He will just absolutely, like, meme something or just comment constantly, and then the person will just, like, shut their account down or block them. I can imagine Roswell being blocked by, like, at least a dozen people. Probably 24 at this point. I dare say you missed a show, Master Dave. With a grunt, Oswin started pouring himself some cereal, earning himself an annoyed, if fleeting, look from Benson. Oh. Yeah, you said that Roswell was being slippery, and Oswin would have throttled him if he caught him, right? He moves faster than I give him credit for. It's a wonder that that bastard child is as fast as he is, given how pudgy he is in the middle. That's not very nice. Considering you eating children's cereal every single day, man, I wouldn't be saying stuff. Just stating fact. If it makes you feel better, consider it my jealousy showing in that I wish I had less weight to slow me down. And I see you're going to great lengths to remedy that fact by eating your second bowl of cereal. Rumbling, Oswin crunched what mouthful he had before defiantly shoving another spoonful of cereal into his mouth. If that doesn't scream Oswin, I don't know what does. And
somebody asked me, I was about to move to the next line, but I got stuck when I read the question from Ian Davies, who asks, will you stream your own game so we can see how you view the voices and personalities? I've been bouncing that idea around in my head for a while, but I need to find the time to do it. Who knows, maybe if I finish this, I could dick around and try it. If I'm not tired enough. Or, well, if I'm not too tired. That's what I meant. Maybe I could do it next week if nothing gets updated and I have the time, because next week is midterms week for me, and oh boy, it's gonna hurt. I have one actual midterm, but then I have like 2 assignments due that week, which were long-term assignments. One of which I need to start. But yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I would say pending, that will probably be like my backup, like a temporary backup. It's not gonna be like a routine thing that I would play every time. Maybe once I release an update, maybe, which is not that often at this point. So yeah. Plus, I have plans to maybe add another VN, maybe 2 if I really got that crazy. Probably just 1 in reality, but maybe 1 new VN at the start of the new year. I'm going to talk to the creators of the game, just so I can kind of keep it a secret and just see what their thoughts are. Because one of them, I do not know if it will fit the channel. The other one, I feel like it's been played by other people, but a lot of people have been like poking at me to play it, and it's like, fine, I'll think about it. Not gonna say which one, but oh god, it's like, I'm definitely considering some of these VNs, but it's just like, I can only play so many VNs on my channel and like read them and sit down and, yeah, reading takes time, like vocally reading them out loud. Honestly, I'd probably play a lot more games if I wasn't like reading them like vocally out loud, I guess, or for a stream or something like this. But, you know, that's kind of part of the production value of it, you know, setting it up, executing it, whatever. Plus, these are kind of meant to just be chill streams I do of what I want when I feel. I still haven't done the let me do what my channel is wanting or the statistics of my channel. You know what I mean, guys. Moving on. Yeah, Benson is savage. Gotta love the man. Now, my boy, are you sure you didn't want another... wait, I thought he was gonna say another cup of coffee. Now, my boy, are you sure you didn't want anything for breakfast? Another cup of coffee, perhaps? Something standing by the coffee machine I gave... Wait. I can't read. Fuck. Still standing by the coffee machine, I gave it a once over before shaking my head again. No, thanks. I'll be alright. This banging headache of mine doesn't matter. I wandered out from the kitchen into the hall leading to the foyer. My friends were on the other side of the wall, conversing among themselves, and while I couldn't hear specifics, I could make out they seemed happy enough. So, why wasn't I happy? When I thought about where my sadness stemmed from, there was only one place, really. Oh god, flashback. A room I barely lingered in if I didn't need to. It'd been that way for... well, it was the room where I was told that it was the room where I was told what had happened. Most of the time when I went for a walk, it was to get out of the house. Just down the street and rarely in the wilderness like this. Dean had driven me out to a big garden before and we'd walked around together. But that was just something to do, right?
Granted, with how often our hands had touched, I assumed that maybe it was a date right up until he told me it wasn't one. Another one of those infamous non-dates we were prone to going on. And then there was Tyson and the occasional trips down to the beach. It had a lot of great memories despite getting told constantly not to eat ice cream inside the car. I looked around at the trees before glancing back at the house. If I wandered further in, maybe I could have some alone time. Right? I knew it was wrong. I knew that there were dangers in the forest given the first time Dean had taken me out here. I could get lost and end up like Roswell. Sassy as hell. I could end up like a sass master. Was spending a night out in the woods all that bad? If I wasn't around, I couldn't be hurt by what the vault showed me. I wouldn't have to look at my friends looking at me funny. Was it pity? Disappointment? I didn't really know. Trudging into the forest, I left them all behind. Eventually, I hit the river that Dean had taken me to. Whether I was walking for the better part of an hour or longer to get there, I couldn't say. But the sound of the water was enough of a guide for where I was headed. In the worst case scenario, Dean would know where to find me. Sorry, I'm tired. For no reason. Probably because I didn't have my coffee. Taking a look around, it seemed as if I was totally alone. No fish in the river, no sounds of other animals or birds, or anyone else nearby. It almost felt like I was the last one standing as I stood at the edge of the water, looking down into my reflection. Without the choking smell of chlorine, I sighed out and looked at the hyena staring back at me. Not gonna make the Mulan reference I did last time. It was so awful. My hands traced my cheeks, across my underbite to my nose. The way the water rippled made me squint to make out the details. Shy of the fur color, I was the spitting image of my dad. It was a legacy that I wasn't sure I liked now. Looking at myself in the mirror was a harsh reminder of him gone. Right down to being unable to smile at my reflection. I thought about if he was watching over me, and what hope that sentiment meant felt more like a curse weighing down on me. Not through anyone else's fault, but my own. Looking up at the river, it winded through the trees, cascading over the cliff off in the distance and further on. Where did that river start? Was there anything else out there? All these questions and more answered on the next episode of Password. No, I'm kidding, but wandering upstream, I figured I'd see where I went, or where it went. Wandering upstream, I figured I'd see where it went. Climbing up a steep incline, the waterfall, I dusted myself. Commas, they're important, man! Climbing up a steep incline near the waterfall, I dusted myself off and looked around for anything else that might have looked different. From what I could tell, this clearing by the river seemed to be a makeshift campsite. I wonder. There was a ring of stones placed somewhat in the middle of the clearing, with a large log sitting nearby acting as a bench. Taking a seat, I looked around. Dave needs his coffee, damn it. It seemed nice enough, but a crisp breeze made me realize just how cold it could get out here late at night. Dave needs more coffee. In all honesty, I haven't had any yerba mate, or any type of energy drink in, weeks, I think. Maybe 2 weeks, give or take. And I have one left in the fridge. And I haven't refilled on it yet because I'm saving money, dang it. The life of a broke college student. You don't spend money on other than groceries for the week. And then you splurge on a $20 worth of Domino's pizza and bread bites at the end of the week. Like I did last night. Good times. And I only have done that once. So it's not a weekly thing where I just splurge every single week. Gotta save money for the monthly bills. Fun. I closed my eyes and breathed in deep. The fresh air helping clear my head a little bit. But with a clear mind, I'm doing the the meditation thing where they're ooh, let me wave around my hand and stuff. And it's some of it's just kind of bogus, but Ooh. I'm meditating, I'm breathing in deep, clearing my head. Yeah. I closed my eyes and breathed in deep, the fresh air helping clear my head a little bit. But with a clear mind, thoughts came rushing in to fill the space, making me think of home.
Come on, sport!
Where are we going? Dad puffed out of his chest. Dave puffed out his chest. Dad puffed out his chest, hands on his hips proudly.
Don't want an adventure with your old man?
Always, Dad. Oh god, that sounds like what every dad would want to hear. Too bad I never said that to my dad. Or really, yet, I guess. He's still alive, don't worry. My dad's still alive. Unlike,
we're moving on. Good. Then buckle up because we're gonna get something awesome to eat when we get there.
Is Mom coming?
Oh, not this time, bud. She's at work.
It almost seems like she never wants to come out with us anymore. I sighed, hopping into the car and closing the door before buckling myself in. Dad tapped on the window, indicating for me to lower it.
Why the long face, bucko?
Fidgeting in my chair, I tried to keep my eyes anywhere than his as he stuck his head through the window slightly to look at me properly, fishing for an answer. No reason, I guess. Dave needs more coffee. In reality, this is just water, but I'm pretending it's coffee.
Seems like there might be one.
You won't get mad at me, right?
No matter what. So, what's got you down?
Mom still loves me too, right?
What? Oh, God, baka.
It was enough to make him recoil and hit his head on the roof of the car as he pulled back in shock.
What would make you think that?
Just... she's barely home, and I don't really remember the last time she smiled at me. Did I do something wrong?
Don't you ever think we don't love you, David.
You did nothing wrong. I promise. He had his serious tone going, staring me down. I'm sorry. Dad sighed out, running his hands through his fur before wandering around the car and jumping in the driver's seat and buckling himself in. Why am I feel like I have like a fleck, not a fleck, but like a feather of like dust or something on my face. I don't know. Okay, just gonna double. Okay, the chat's still going. I thought it broke for a second. Guys were just quiet. Dad sighed out, running his hands through his fur before wandering around the car and jumping into the driver's seat and buckling himself in. We didn't leave the driveway. Instead, his fingers just drummed on the steering wheel. Yeah, both the dad and the son are named Dave. So, Dave Jr. and Dave Sr. It was the only sound we had, and he hadn't even started the car. And when he stopped, I turned to look at him. He just smiled at me. Maybe it was a brave face or something else I couldn't say. I remembered what he said next, or at least the individual words. But for the life of me, I couldn't remember specifically how it sounded. I love you. As I opened my eyes, the campsite came back into view. The world around me hadn't changed outside the faint sounds of nature, now being something I was more aware of. Had it all just been drowned out as I lost myself in my head, or... Jesus, it's like a freaking... like, it feels like flecks over just like feathers of stuff just keep hitting my face. Ah! Sorry, guys. Yes, Dave the Second. Had it all just been drowned out as I lost myself in my head, or... In a daze, my eyes looked to the water as I sat on the log, watching it flow steadily downstream. I wondered what would happen if I drowned right here. If this was the place I died. I wondered if it would hurt, or if some miracle would come along and stop it from happening. I wondered why the idea didn't scare me as much as it probably should have. Was I a coward? Selfish? Probably. Or of all the places to choose, at least here was peaceful. It would solve all my problems in one go. My sadness, my stress, and guilt. I'd able to see Dad again, hopefully. Or I'd be able to see Dad again, hopefully. Before I knew it, I was standing up and slowly walking towards the water's edge. My feet felt heavy, but my chest felt light. I wasn't having trouble breathing, but each breath rattled out of my barely parted mouth. Step by step, I got closer, not breaking stride once with my eyes locked on a spot somewhere in the middle of the river. Before I could second guess if I was going to follow through on falling into the water, I stepped on something solid but smooth, enough to make me look down to see what it was. I looked down at what I'd picked up, rolling it over my hand. A thick glass syringe. Oh god, it sounds so like dirty and contaminated. Oh god. With its needle capped off, never mind, by some sort of plastic thing at the end. Had it been used? Why was it out here? In the sunlight, I caught the glint of something half buried underneath some fallen leaves, and now distracted from what I was originally doing, I went to investigate. See, commas are important. I hate being that grammar Nazi, but oh my god, it just as a reader, it hurts so much when you mess up a line, when you look after you say it and you're like, oh, there was meant to be a pause there. That's where the comma should have been. Anyway, I went to investigate. Kneeling down, I picked up what was... I can't read. Ironically, I can't read. Kneeling down, I picked up what that was too. Assuming another needle, but instead it was a bottle. Small, unassuming, outside the label it had neatly printed on its front. Cryptoc. The first word was long, and I wasn't sure if I knew exactly how to pronounce it, like me on every single sentence. But the second word I had heard before. Some sort of illness that Mom had mentioned once, I think. With an item in each hand, I looked between the two. You have acquired a syringe and bottle. If anybody has watched the recent Limits update on FVN Shin's channel, I was in it! Yeah! For more than 2 lines this time. I was in it for like 10, I think. I don't know. My character in there, he's supposed to probably show up more so on the next day of it, which is probably going to be the next video of it, so maybe in a week or 2 I'll have my time to shine. Till then, I don't know what's happening. And just double checking my calendar to see that I don't have any conflicts on a Tuesday. I don't have any Tuesday events, luckily. Thursday I'm busy, Monday I'm busy, Wednesday I should be busy doing schoolwork and whatnot, and school in general. Yeah. School sucks. Anyway, with an item in each hand, I looked between the two. The bottle was empty with the foil seal on the top punctured. The needle, while capped, still had what looked to be condensation inside. A few moments later, I yelped and quickly dropped both, drawing a conclusion I didn't want to believe. Did someone inject themselves here? Or did someone inject another person? Sorry, but I ain't touching that syringe. Bad Dave. True. Honestly, if I saw a syringe, I'd just be like, nope. But I guess given the context that we are in a mansion and the guy that is the head of the mansion or the one living in it has like chemicals and stuff, maybe we should take it back for research. That would be the only reason I would take it. If I was in Austin's mansion, I was like, or not in it, but lived there for the month and was like, hey, this might help him figure out some stuff. But yeah, really sus to me. Did someone inject themselves here? Or did someone inject another person? The only person I knew to be out here was Roswell. Well, Roswell and whatever the white thing I saw was. I picked both up and put them in my pocket carefully. The what thing? Osman said things had gone missing from his lab. So maybe this was some of it? Either way, he'd know better. My mind raced with what it was all meant, and what it all meant, Jesus. I'm soberly drunk. My mind raced with what it all meant as I looked around again. My resolve and focus on going into the river was shot, and likely for the better. But instead, it was replaced with curiosity, and I headed upstream. Ooh, we go to the place, the mysterious, spooky-looking house. I lost track of how long I walked, but I was in no hurry, taking occasional breaks to look about the trees. Something gave me the impression that I was being watched. I always feel like somebody's watching me. And I get no privacy. Whoa. Before me, sitting right along the water's edge, was a rundown mill. Rundown mill. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. Rundown mill. Moss and vines instead of was it honey and vine? What's the like what is it? There's like I forget if it was like what is it? Like a company or a brand where it's like something in vine. Whatever. Terrible joke. Moss and vines seeming to have claimed the place after many years of no use. Just like before, this place seemed quiet and serene. I would have said that it felt like I was truly alone if the feeling that I'm going to reread the line because a professional would reread the line. Just like before, this place seemed quiet and serene. I would have said that it was like I was truly alone if the feeling that I was being watched didn't get stronger the longer I stood out in the open. Is anyone there? Carefully looking around, I called out quietly, which I didn't do quietly. Silence. Nothing but silence to answer my question. Just gotta double check something. Okay. Yeah, just wanted to make sure that the mini feed was working still. Because if I refreshed the caches of each item and a subscriber came in, it would pop up in the middle of the stream. Happened to be once already during the Tennis Ace stream. And yeah, that's it. Anyway. Nothing but silence to answer my question. I didn't really want to go inside the mill. After all, who knows what could have been in there, or if I wouldn't accidentally stop on a loose floor panel. I guess that's a word. I didn't really want to go inside the mill. After all, who knows what could have been in there, or if I wouldn't accidentally stop on a loose floor panel and getting trapped. It was a reminder that I didn't tell anyone where I was going. But I only had myself to blame. I couldn't get angry about them not coming to save me because I didn't give them the chance. Not only that, but when I got back, I had no excuse for them to be mad at me for being a hypocrite yet again. I slumped my shoulders and sighed, leaning up against one of the beams, holding up a trough. Is it tra? Tra? I have to Google this again, damn it.
Trough.
Trough. Jesus Christ, I don't know how to spell. Trough. Holy crap. Oh boy. Where was I? I slumped my shoulders and sighed, leaning up against one of the beams and holding up a trough up above. Braced against something, I whined out. My troubles making me hesitate in the turning back I can't read. I slumped my shoulders and sighed, leaning up against one of the beams, holding up a trough up above. Braced against something, I whined out. My troubles making me hesitate in turning back now. My ears perked at the sound of a twig snapping, and I looked around. Eyes darting around the trees, and for its source, I heard it again. Out in the open, the sound echoed around me, and it was hard to place exactly where it had come from. Being out in the open left me exposed, and I felt it now. Deciding that heading inside might not be the worst idea of all things considered. Inside the mall was... It's not a mall, it's a mill! Inside the mill was dirty, and much like the outside, nature had claimed most of it. Walls were cracked, but the stonework held together despite the vines growing through a hole in one of the walls. Looking behind me to see if I was being followed, I ducked behind the doorway to try and stay out of sight. Not that it'd help if I had already been spotted. Reaching inside my pocket, I held onto the syringe, reminiscing myself that I had something in the way of a weapon just in case things went sour. It didn't look like there were any abandoned tools nearby that would make for a better option anyway. I heard another twig snap, followed by someone calling out, "Hello?" Oh god, I gotta do the voice. I know the character.
Hello? Someone around out there? The voice had a tinge of amusement to it. Somewhat squeaky too, so I could rule it out of being any of my friends. Even Oswin and Benson didn't have a voice that matched that. Peering around the corner, I couldn't see anything. No sign of whoever it was that was also out here. They kept calling, asking where I was hiding, but it seemed as if they weren't making any effort to get closer. I weighed up, heading further into the mill in an effort to hide, as leaving would just let whoever was calling out find me, right? It grew colder as I ventured further in, and it seemed like I was heading more underground too, and also heading into deeper horror movie logic, where hiding inside the unknown abandoned building is totally the best idea when trying to get away from somebody. The air was stale down here, and there were half-broken slabs of concrete making up the flooring. Large pipes and machines seemed to be everywhere, all powered by the water wheel outside. Or if it was powered by anything else, I couldn't see a generator. There was something about this place that made me feel odd. The ceiling was up high above. Jagged pieces of metal jutted out from odd angles from the ceiling from where they'd rusted and fallen apart over time. How deep did this place go underground? What was it for? Lumber? Off to the side, there seemed to be a chute for something to drop down from the level above and onto a conveyor belt that ran alongside one side of the wall. At the end was a saw blade, ready to cut whatever was sent down the path of it. There was something about this place that I couldn't quite place. It wasn't sadness, but a feeling of unease that came from within. Familiar in a way, but I couldn't place how. Hello? There was that voice again, smug and amused as before, but now closer. The voice echoed through the building, and I backed up against one of the large metal chambers that dotted the room I was in. Footsteps, light but somewhat clumsy, maybe. But that wasn't what stuck out to me. As good as my nose was, I couldn't smell them at all. Nothing to distinguish who they could be or anything. Was it because of the air in here? Do I smell like something? How do you smell? How do people just smell like something without being stinky? I guess, whatever. Straining my ears, I listened as they moved around, searching for me. They could have been friendly for all I know, but something about this just seemed like bad news. Their footsteps sounded like they got closer before stopping entirely. Gripping the syringe tightly, I waited. And waited. I let out a breath that I didn't realize I'd been holding, figuring out I might have just misheard them leaving. Oh God! The shock made me fall over, and I hit my head as hard as I landed, passing out. I committed a dead. Ow. When I came to, I was back outside. It seemed darker, and I wasn't sure exactly how long I'd been out for. I was only half certain of what I'd seen fight before falling over, I was only half certain of what I'd seen fight before falling over and sat up, groaning. Quickly checking my pockets, it seemed as though I had everything still, much to my relief. My head was still spinning, but I seemed unharmed outside the tumble, and I let myself properly get my bearings. Whoever that was I ran into didn't seem to be around right now, and I wobbled on my feet as I stood. How late is it?
Let me check my Fitbit. Dave has like a Fitbit on his hand. He's just like, let me check my Fitbit. What time is it?
How late is it?
About 6. Jesus Christ. Whoa. I fell over again, landing on my rear and yelping as I nursed my tail. What? You got a curfew? No, I mean, I'm not Shuichi whose curfew is 6 o'clock, but, you know, that's a different novel. No, I mean, who? Where? What the frick is going on? Oh, scare ya? Not gonna laugh at me, or not gonna laugh on me, are ya? Laugh on you? You mean lash on you? I guess. I'm gonna laugh on you. Ha! Ha! Fight me! Oh god, this guy is bonkers. I just spit on the camera. I am so sorry. I found out that I thought I ran out of tissues. Turns out I bought 4 boxes and did not notice. You guys are safe. It's okay. You are okay, camera. Yeah, Yelp is very commonly used in VNs. But actually, I don't think I've used the word Yelp once. Maybe as a verb, but not like a Yelp. Like I haven't used it as a, was it? Not like not like an onomatopoeia, but just kind of like, now exclamation, that's the word. Yeah, I haven't used it as an exclamation though. Could be dead wrong. Honestly, who knows? It feels like it's been used a lot though. Low key. I stared at the hair, unsure of what to make of things. Yeesh. Watching you has been a hoot, but didn't think you'd be so flighty. More on edge than any other game out here. That's for sure. The game? Animals? Got it in one. Technically, we're all animals. Didn't expect a hyena out here, though. He gestured wide with his arms briefly before staring at me some more. What's your name, kid? Dave? And what's a hyena like yourself doing this far out, Just on a walk, I guess. Walk? On this mountain? Yeah, I am a cross-country triathlete, man. I'm walking in every random mountain I see. Yeah? The hare whistled, looking around. Must be a long walk, given you look like city folk. City folk are, or what's the farmer's only thing where it's like, city folk aren't the same, or some crap like that. Like, city folk just don't have it. Something like that. Oh god, those farmers only commercials. Well, no, I'm a country bumpkin. For me, I'm just a suburbanite. Yeah. Really interesting thing too, because I don't know if I don't want to spoil my hometown, but there's a tragic event that happened like a couple years ago on this day, and people have been like mentioning it a lot in my feed for like my real life social media accounts. And it's interesting because the irony of the tragedy was just, something that I don't know if it could have been prevented or whatnot, but it is ironic to think about in that the election technically ended today, and so people are like, whoa, strange. But yeah, it was just weird having that timeline, a mix of people being happy about the election, and of course people being sad too, but yeah, people being happy about the election and then people being sad about the local tragedy. So weird things happen, man. Things are crazy.
But yeah, the thing was, it was like the tragedy happened, but since our town was like, a suburb, somebody wrote like a whole post about like, man, our town is like one of the last of these traditionally suburb places where, you had the high school rivalry for football teams, you had the mall, and they mentioned all the suburb stereotypes, and I thought, holy crap, my suburb is like the traditional stereotypical like 70s suburb, like holy crap, or even 60s, whatever it was. Like, damn, my parents tried hard to make me have the same childhood they did. Wow. Well, actually, maybe not my mom because she lived in like a small town, but more so my dad. Anyway. Wait, do you guys have a Canadian election going on right now? I live in Canada and the US election is... Oh, the US election is way too intense over here. Yeah, it's been intense in general. Imagine living in America right now with it. Yeah, things are interesting. Anyway, no politics for now. Here we go. Well, no, The hare stared at me some more, waiting. Well, you could just walk here from the city. My guess is you're one of them Hammond kids. The adopted ones, that is. Me? No. I'm just... staying there, I guess. His attitude seemed to shift. Disappointment, maybe? It was hard to tell. Oh, God. Just a guest? Oh, shame. Shame how? Well, getting in good with the rich folk is never a bad thing. Can't have one of their guests lost out in the woods now, can we? I'm not that lost, Mr. Hobie. I'm nobody. But call me Jack. Jack. Okay. Alrighty then. Those hands are creepy as fuck. When you got the creepy hands, something is... I don't know. Creep hands are... There was something about how he said that. Something that made me feel uneasy. I knew Oswin didn't like rabbits, so maybe that was the color... I knew Oswin didn't like rabbits, so maybe that was what was coloring my opinions of this guy. Well then, Dave, you had a bit of a fall inside the mill, so I brought you out here. Only because you snuck up on me. Really now? Didn't think you'd scare so easily when you're out here by yourself. Didn't think a place as big as the Hammonds would host only one guest at a time either. Oh, it's not just me. Whole family of hyenas visiting? Huh, well, I could have imagined that house to be full of laughs then. No, it's just me and some friends. Your friends? It was almost as if the concept was foreign to him with how thoughtful he seemed to be after echoing what I'd said. Sounds fun. It's been something like that. You kidding? Whole mansion and you ain't having fun? I groaned and slumped on the spot. There's just been a lot going on back at the house. I probably shouldn't get into it. No? And why's that? You know the house, right? I mean, of course you do, because you know the name of the person who owns it, so... Oh yeah, plenty of stories about the place. There are stories? Sure is. Recluse lives there now with his butler. Smart as a whip and occasionally gets a visitor every now and again. That's not much of a story. Well, that's not the story. The story is he's got a time machine in his basement. Or no, wait, he's got a machine in his basement. Why did I say time machine? Oswin in the time machine. I can imagine him and like Oswin's like the Doc Brown and Dave's Marty. Oh god. Rick and Morty, but it's Oswin and Dave. I don't know. Alright, so story is he's got a machine in his basement. You wouldn't have happened to see it given you're living there, have you? Oh, you mean... I caught myself before I said anything more, noticing Jack's eyes light up the moment I trailed off. So it does exist. Oh, well, that's nice to hear given what I know about it. Oh boy. You heard about it too? I've been told about it, sure. Hard not to remember talk of a time machine's... wait. There's the time machine. Hard not to remember talk of a time machine someone's built. It wasn't a time machine, was it? Is that why the door hadn't opened? Was Oswin just lying about it? No, that couldn't have been it. Oswin had said the machine works on trauma. He said that everything just repeats over and over. So it's not letting you travel through time as much as just looking at what happened last time. Well, maybe I should see if I could get... Maybe I should see if I could get it working when I'm back at the house next. If you ever get there. What? Did you know your way back? Or do you know your way back? Reckon you're stuck without a guide. Oh, I'm sure I can figure it out. I'll just head back down the river until I find something familiar and then wander back from there. River doesn't go anywhere near the house. You'd end up getting to a waterfall at a sheer cliff before you got back to the city, too. It's not that bad, is it? You're welcome to find out. What about you? Why are you even out here? Just hunting. After all, there are some big mountains and there's nothing like being out where no one else is around to bother you. I'm sorry if I bothered you then. I just figured the mill was something neat to look at. No bother. Wondered who was... Jesus, I hit the wrong button. No bother. Wondered who was wandering around out here. You sure you're fine to be heading back to... You sure you're fine to be heading back... You sure you're fine on... Okay. Redo the whole line. Throw it out. Like the entire election. No bother. As people would make election jokes. No more politics, Dirk. No bother. Wondered who was wandering around out here. You sure you're fine to be heading on back to the house by yourself? Yeah, I'll be fine. Thanks. Something wasn't right. Stranger danger was a thing I'd been taught as a kid, and it didn't really sink in now as I was... It didn't really sink in now as to what that had meant. I was getting an off feeling about Jack. Something about how he moved, talked, or even stood there as time went by. You don't know your way back, Dave. You don't know your way back, Dave. I'll figure it out. You hit your head pretty hard. Maybe I should take you back to where I'm staying so you can rest. No. I'm good. Really. I took a couple steps back, shooting him a wry smile. It wasn't at all convincing, but I didn't want to turn my back to him either. Do you at least want me to point you in the right direction? You know where the house is? General location, sure. Wouldn't be much of a hunter if I couldn't navigate this forest now, would I? Without me asking, he pointed in a direction away from the river, through the trees. Head that way. Terrain might make it a little harder, but that's the direction the house is in. Got a long walk ahead of you, though. I chanced to look in the direction he pointed out before looking back at him. Thanks. Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna head on back to my own little hidey hole, I think. Safe travels, Dave. I watched as he turned on heel and wandered off, disappearing out of sight in the opposite direction to where I was headed. Sighing out, I took a longer look at where I needed to go. I hit my hand on my bottle. This is actually a cup, not a bottle. But then I thought about what Oswin thought about rabbits. Maybe he was right that rabbits couldn't be trusted. Was he lying? Dun dun. I followed the direction he pointed out. Would I even make it back to the mansion? What if it just led further away? I had a choice to make. Oh dear God, we can do a choice now? This is something I did not expect. But turns out you can do if you played this multiple times, supposedly. Oh boy, I want to see what happens if we trust him. Because I think what originally you do is you doubt Jack. Because then you just kind of sit there and you're like, nah, he's crazy. But let's see if this gives us a bad ending. I am actually kind of interested. Wait, that is the decision we normally made. Shaking my head, let's see what this gives us. Just for shits and giggles. Because I've already played this once, so it's not like I'm really in a rush to be like, let me get to the end of it. So this is the special Dean edition where you get to see what happens in the alternate choice. Okay. Oh no, is he gonna follow him? So, shaking my head, my gut was telling me that there was something off about what he had said. Maybe it was the directions he had given me, or maybe what he was intending. Where had he gone to anyway? His hidey hole? I wasn't willing to just follow him blindly. Worst case scenario, I could find my way back to the river and wander back down to the campsite. Or take shelter in the mill and make my way back in the morning. Okay, so for all I knew, Jack was up to something. I didn't know what it was, or if it involved me, but I didn't trust him including the directions back to the house. So I picked a direction and started walking, assuming I could just double back if I didn't run into anything. The immediate area around the mill seemed the same as the rest of the woods. I hit a cliff Tibbetts wall that seemed to continue on for a while. It didn't bother following the river or any further upstream when I found another waterfall. I didn't know why I expected to run into Jack out here, or find out where he went. But it was something I wish I knew. There was meant to be a shack out here, right? Was that his hidey hole? Or was the shack just what the mill was meant to be? I really was in the middle of nowhere. Alone, I thought about my friends back at the house. And if I'd be lost out here much like Roswell was. It was a mistake to come out here by myself. I tried smelling the air to see if I could pick out something. Oh god, this is gonna remind me of the other... Oh god, this reminds me of the stream I did with the FVN Shin channel like 2 weeks ago. Not the stream, the recording got... Oh god. But most of the plot
of that episode revolved around sniffing the air. Oh, dear God. I tried smelling the air to see if I could pick out anything, but the dust from the mill was still clogging my nose. All I could smell was that musty old smell from underground instead of the fresh mountain air. As I rubbed my nose, I caught the sound of Jack somewhere far off. He seemed to be talking with someone, but I couldn't make out the specifics. I couldn't even make out which direction he was from how his voice echoed off the trees. Sure. We heard him. The more I focused on listening, the more I could make out some words here and there, but I couldn't hear anyone else. Semaina, yeah. Don't know. We're not out here for. Oh boy, we get more plot from this version. Maybe he was on the phone. I went to check my pockets for my own, and I realized I must have left it back at the house. Fuck, that's a horror movie for you. You always leave your phone back at the house. Letting the others know where I was would have been helpful had I remembered it. At the very least, Dean would have been able to find me, right? Maybe Roswell remembered, or maybe Roswell if he remembered the wave to the campsite. Even then I was assuming a lot, thinking that Roswell even used that particular campsite when there could have been many others scattered around the place. You're killing me, you know that? Jack's voice got closer, and he seemed to be on the move. I didn't want to be caught unintentionally eavesdropping, so I doubled back to the mill and continued my way back downstream. Back to square one. What little light I had to work with was fading quickly. I remember Dean saying that there was no point heading out into the woods at night just in case we injured ourselves. I wondered if maybe it was best if I tried to make myself comfortable for the night, as much as I already started to feel like the temperature started to drop. Temperature, Jesus, can't say it. The thought of being out here made my stomach rumble, reminding me that I hadn't eaten for the better part of 2 days. Jesus Christ, no wonder, Dave, you're going crazy. Or at least not enough to make it substantial. My legs were sore from walking so much, and I sat down, wondering how Haas could be so fit. Was it conditioning? Was it Maybelline? He seemed to like walking most places, or even going for a run. It'd match up to what I knew of Sal as well, being used to lifting and carrying things from what I'd heard from Orlando. Sitting down on the log, I buried my face in my hands, sighing out. I'd made a mistake coming out here, but at least now I'd remember not to do something so stupid again in the future. The sound of a twig snapping nearby made me look up. Ah, Jesus! Every time. Why do I fucking get scared? But this guy appearing every time freaking scares me. Why are you so scary? Jack reappeared, approaching slowly. Still out here? Didn't I point out the way back? You did, but, you said difficult terrain? He chuckled, rolling his shoulders. Not able to deal with difficult terrain, huh? Good to know. Jack will remember that. You know, I was wondering what you meant by that. Did you mean rocks, or cliffs, or... Does it matter? Didn't end up going that way. I guess not. He got closer, resting his foot on the log and leaning down to look at me. I leaned back away from him as he did so, reflexively going to the needle concealed needle. I leaned back away from him as he did so, reflexively going to the needle concealed in my pocket. Planning on camping out here? Not a bad spot. I haven't decided yet. I thought you went the other way. Why are you downstream? Well, you know me.
Guess I just got lost. I don't know, Jack be looking sus up in here. He chuckled low while keeping his eyes on me, inching closer still. For me, I shifted a little further back and he seemed to get the message. You came out here all alone. Didn't bring anything for supplies. Oh, what are you, an idiot? That's not very nice. Apologize, please. That is no good. Bad, Jack. No, it's not. But who the fuck cares? Anyway. Yeah, well, I care. Leave me alone. Come now, Dave. Haven't you ever heard about the kindness of strangers? Maybe you should come back with me to my shelter and stay the night. You could tell me all about your friends and what's got you down with the house you're staying at. I stood, and for a moment it almost seemed like Jack's expression shifted more towards a smug satisfaction. But then it faded away from him as soon as it was clear that I wasn't intending to follow him anywhere. Okay, I'm gonna head back now. Thanks for getting me out of the mill, I guess. In a flash, he'd moved forward, grabbing me by the arm. I don't do anything for free. You owe me. Hey, let me go! Not just yet. Not just yet, Dave. I know something you can pay me back with. There's a thing I wanted to know. You met the guy that owns the place, right? I spoke without thinking. Trying to pull my arm away from him was my priority. Oswin Hammond? You don't just say his full name like that when you're freaking out like that. I would have been like, yeah, what's it to you, or some crap like that. I wouldn't have been like, Oswin Hammond, the owner of the Hammond Manor? Jesus Christ, Dave. Why you gotta be so himbo right now? Oswin Hammond? Right as I pulled, he let me go, letting me land on my back on the ground. Oh, good. That makes it easier. What about his butler? He's still kicking? No, he's just whacking people. With nunchucks, because he's a spy. Yes? I mean, he's old, but yeah, sure. He's around. Jack didn't seem to like that answer. Jack will remember that. His jaw clenched and he stared down at me with his voice low. Well, that's just great, isn't it? Here I was hoping that this was gonna be an easy job too. What do you mean easy job? Oh well, I don't mind with a messy job when the pay is this good. Did he even say that in the other route? Did I not remember this? Holy crap. Called it. Yep. Joshua, when I saw that, I'm like, wait for it. Just wait for it, man. I don't understand. What do you mean? I got to my feet, edging away from Jack further. There was no point in being subtle about it now. I wanted to get away. All the while, he just grinned, looming over me. What I mean is that I've been out here a week, bored out of my mind, and I just want to have a little fun. So, get to running, Dave. Let's play tag! Jesus Christ, every time, that's just like the worst line. Ugh. Mercenary rabbit on the loose. Oh god. It is rabbit season, except the rabbit kills you. He's Jack the Ripper. No! Why'd you say that? Oh god. Our life. Shit. The moment I saw the knife, I ran. I didn't need to stick around to wonder what he was intending on doing with it. I had no idea where I was going. I could barely see, and it took everything I had to stop myself from tripping over the many roots that lined the forest floor. Like a horror movie. How I wished I was more fit. My heart was pounding in my chest and my lungs felt like they were on fire. It was a wonder that I hadn't collapsed from exhaustion. I felt a chill down my spine as I heard Jack somewhere behind me, calling out in a sing-song sort of tone. Dave, run as fast as you can. Dave, run, run. It was a fear that I hadn't felt before, cold and dark somewhere deep down that it seemed to keep me moving forward. It was different from the cliff and the river. It was different from back home. It was even different from thinking about my friends, and I wasn't sure if it was a good or a bad thing. The darkness of the forest seemed to ease up. Maybe I was getting used to it? Or maybe being chased with my life on the line was making things easier. Not that I had any way of knowing which way I was going. Gonna have to do better than that, Dave. Holy shit. I yelped as I rounded a tree and dove around Jack as he swiped lazily with his knife. I could feel the sting of it shear some of the fur off my ears as I continued on. Keep running. Playtime isn't over yet. With one hand on my ear and the other propelling myself forward, I struggled to find my way. It looked all the same. The woods outside my breathing was quiet. But then, I knew where to go. I didn't see it, but I could smell it. Cherry pie! I knew that smell. Orlando must have baked something to lead me back to the house. What guilt I would have felt that not doing the same thing for Roswell would need to wait. I mean, it's Roswell, but anyway. All I had to do was follow my nose and I'd be safe. I'd be with my friends. It wasn't home, but it'd do. Jack was still following me, though. Every moment I had to stop to take a deep breath so I could hear him somewhere behind me approaching. He wasn't running like I was, but pacing himself. Maybe his stamina was just better. Then, through the trees, I could see the soft glow of lights. The smell of pie was growing stronger too. There, I'm there! I looked behind me and there was Jack, still with a knife and gaining speed, his white fur sticking out in the darkness like the night like a ghost. Not there yet. Whining, I tried to lose him in the last little bit through the trees, but almost choked as he grabbed the back of my shirt, pulling me back towards him and then into a tree. Winded, I clutched my chest. The house was right there. I turned to look. I felt the tip of Jack's knife on my throat. I closed my eyes. What else was there to do? It'd be over soon, hopefully. From how hard I was running, I could barely form words. It wasn't much of an upside, but at least they'd be able to find my body easily. The sound of a gunshot made us both jump, and just as quickly as I realized what had happened, I fell to the ground, covering my head. Cowering on the ground, I heard my assailant flee into the forest again. Despite being so close to the house, I didn't feel so good. I didn't feel safe. Instead, I felt sick, like I was able to pass out, but something was keeping me conscious. I couldn't keep my thoughts together. My tongue tangled, and my inability to pull myself together was making me hyperventilate. The adrenaline was nice while I was running away, but now I could barely breathe as I clutched my chest. I collapsed to the ground, clutching my chest. Had I been shot? Had Jack? What had happened? Dave! Looking up, I could see Dean skid to a halt in front of me, dropping to his knees and holding me by the shoulders. Wanting to tell him what happened, what I'd seen, and how I was feeling. But nothing came out of my mouth except for a raspy breath and the onset of nausea.
God, you're pale. Were you out in the forest all day? What happened?
Dean, did... I looked to Orlando, eased back onto my knees by Dean. Everyone, Dean found him. He was quick to leave again, rushing off somewhere out of sight. Clinging to Dean, I whined and gasped for air, my heart pounding in my chest. Trying to keep myself centered on Dean's honey-like scent, I struggled to calm myself down.
It's Dave.
Yes, I can see that.
Who? I heard a gunshot and...
We can discuss this later. Get the boy inside. Dean picked me up and I clung to him, digging into the muscle under the fur as if letting go was the same as dying then and there. Where is that fucking rabbit? I could tell it was Oswin, although his tone was different. Crazy, almost as I could make out what seemed to be a revolver in his hand before he shoved it into his pocket. Damn it all! Sir, now is not the time to be gallivanting around on a crusade over rabbits. Oswin grunted, standing stiff. I wanted to tell him what happened, to apologize for not taking his warning seriously, or at least what I assumed to be one. At least Dave is accounted for now, but he's suffering. The sound I made was a mix between a whine and a rasping cough. The tightening in my chest became worse. Also, if you ask Oswin about rabbits during the questioning, part he'd tell us that he hates rabbits. Oh god, that would be quite interesting if that changes things. Oh man. Then do something about it. You're a doctor, right? Again, I tried to speak as Oswin stepped closer, looking me in the eye. Set him down, Dean. As if afraid of breaking me, he set me down on the stairs, sitting me against him for additional support.
It's all right, Dave. You're safe now.
You had us all worried. Help. It took everything I had to get the word out, and I tried to stand, slipping on the stair below me and felling onto the cold tiles of the foyer floor. In a flash, Dean was by my side as I heard the others rushing closer. We were in danger. They were all in danger. It was my fault. I couldn't breathe. My vision was blurring, and I was starting to lose my ability to hear.
I've got an idea.
A Tyson-shaped blur rushed past up the stairs until I could no longer discern his scent among the others. Dean seemed to know what his plan was and hurried along after him soon after. Dave, listen to me. I need you to tell me where the rabbit went. You can't be serious. That's the priority for you right now. Roswell went ignored, and Oswin stopped next to me, shifting me so we could make eye contact easier. It's very important. Where did he go? It took everything I just had to shake my head. The smell of the gunpowder was strong on Oswin, and it was bringing memories to the surface that I couldn't fight off. Should we get him somewhere?
Maybe we should at least pick him up off the floor. Dave, try to relax. I'll put you in your bed, and when you're ready, you can tell us what happened.
As Sal came down to pick me up, I pushed him away. I could do it. I had to.
Dave, please.
Sal, stand back. What are you going to? In a flash, Oswin pulled something from his coat and thrust it in my neck. The sound of air escaping, indicating something had happened.
What did you do?
Something I was saving for that rabbit, but this should do to put Dave at ease. Are you trying to kill us? What is going on? Whatever they said next, I didn't catch. Instead, passing out there on the floor. It started with my vision. Then my body went numb. And then last to go was my hearing. But the last voice I heard was Benson saying something. In a way, I was relieved now that everything had stopped. Was I dead? Was I asleep? Either way, all I could do was let whatever happens, happen. I think this is the last line. So I'm gonna save there. And I was correct. To be continued. End of demo. Well, boys and girls, that is the end of Password Update 25. 0.25, whatever you want to call it. We did both Dean's and Tyson's routes, which have similar scenarios, but holy crap. Somebody was theorizing that Jack could be responsible for all the murders that are, like, stabbing related, which, spoilers, 3, 2, 1. Tyson died due to stabbings, and supposedly Haas got stabbed. I did not know that, so I felt spoiled by that. And I don't know, maybe Sal's hypnosis could have been part of that. Well, that's not a spoiler, but yeah, it's like the stabbings. Like, I could totally see it as, yep, they're totally Jack. Like, there's no crazy monster. It's just Jack being a freaking psychopath. What else? I'm gonna end spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Spoilers over. Spoilers are over. Alright, so. Yeah. Man, I mean, honestly, it feels like there's something, like, luckily we got to hear that Jack was on a call with somebody, so now we could definitely tell that he's part of something. It's not just Jack as a rogue psychopath. Legit, there's probably a team trying to, like, take down a Hammond, like the Hammonds or some crap like that, or get the secret formula or whatever. I don't know, man. But yeah, the Sal thing was not a spoiler. Like, Sal, this happens in both routes, so it's not a spoiler. So yeah, Sal got hypnotized on day 10 either way. So yeah, he sleepwalks. So yeah, that seems normal. Besides that, yeah, my God, this game is actually escalating more and more. I did not expect it to, but good update. And took us 2 hours this time. Last time I think it took us 3 because I spent a while mukbanging or some crap like that before. But don't forget about the no Benson route. That just ends in, like, Benson getting shot, though. Like, that's the thing. It's like, Benson gets shot because we prevent that from happening, because that's like an any day 7 situation. But Benson gets shot, though, and then we just go back home. Like, that, there's no big ending from that. But I don't know, could Jack have been shot from that? Maybe. But I don't know, would Jack have just stolen his gun and, like, got into a fight and shot him? Where would he have a gun? He has a knife, but we don't know if Jack has any guns. And if so, maybe they're probably back at the mill. No, there's a route where if you reveal Oswin, he leaves the mansion. What? Are you freaking serious? That's insane. I don't know if I'm going to remember any of the passwords from, like, day 7 onwards, but What day was that? Day 8 or something? Day 9 maybe? I forget what day that was. At that route, Oswin dies though. No. That makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. So it was good we didn't reveal him. Oh, that's nice. No, Oswin doesn't leave. Benson leaves. Does anybody want to see me play around with it for shits and giggles? At the 2 hour and 5 minute mark? Where the hell is the line? There it is. If you guys could remind me what day that was where we figured out the whole do we reveal him or not situation. Maybe in day 8, but I could be wrong. Alright, and I saved that. Okay. Okay, Derp Dorito says yes, but I'm assuming it's probably yes for go ahead. Can you guys remind me if it was day 8? Because holy shit, I only have up to day 11 saved, and I might have to play some passwords all over again. Oh no, I have day, like part 1s. Okay, so day 10. I only have up to day 10 for that, so if I scroll back, God, I wish there was a... Yeah, okay, main menu. Day 6 through 8, I guess. I guess it doesn't matter which day it is in all reality, but still, nonetheless, I only have, like, day 10 saved? Or is this day 8? Yeah, I have day 8 saved. Okay. Here it is. Oh, shit. I just skipped it. Where am I? I feel like an old delusional man, and I think this is the Tyson route. Yeah, this is Tyson's. So this is from Tyson's route, but it's probably not gonna matter. Ah, frick. There it is. Here we go, guys. We're gonna reveal Oz. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh shit. Oh boy. But does that mean we're gonna end on the day? But isn't there 9? Oh boy. I'm saying oh boy too much because, oh god, I'm nervous to see how this all pans out. There was a silence following my question. Benson's expression was somewhere between disappointment and contained panic. So there was someone else in here. Interesting. I could see Benson tensing up. I wasn't sure if I was meant to be ashamed that I opened my mouth or relieved that there were no more secrets to be shared. Better question is, why hide it? Even better question, who is it? Ah, my apologies to all of you. The master of this house is indeed still here. His proclivity for being a recluse led him to believe that his presence here was unnecessary to divulge. After all, he never intended to interact with any of you. Yeah, the intensity rose up real quick. Seriously, man. I don't know what to do now with that. How long will this be? Will it only last like 1 day or so? If it goes like for 4 days or something crazy like that, I might have to make a separate video. If I want to, otherwise I might just have to play it on my own or just skim through it. But yeah. 2 days, I think. I'm assuming including day 8, so that sounds pretty normal. I'll do it. Why? We're staying at his house, right? It is a he based on master, right?
Correct. Well, I guess that's not so bad. If he wants his space, that's fine, right?
He leaves us alone. We leave him alone. What's the big deal? Last night. Does he know about last night?
He does. Yes. Yeah, he does. Yes. But I assure you, he paid your search no mind. He's a skeptic, shall we say?
He doesn't believe you were in danger either.
As I said to Master Dave, the thought was flattering all the same. That you would all flock to your friend's aid is a touching sentiment too. The Master and I were both pleased that the youth of today would have such solidarity for one another.
Was that the password for like day 10?
Oswin's fine, just a bit cray-cray.
So what? He's gonna come say hello now that we know he's around or nah?
Likely not, Master Tyson. He does like his space.
Well, whatever then.
But... Now, Master Dave. No need to worry about this anymore. I apologize again for misleading you. I assure you that everything is fine.
Oh, it was the password for day 6 for Tyson. That's ironic. I forgot what day 10's password was. Or if there were any other passwords. I forgot all the passwords. I'm good at this game. I got the impression that Benson was trying to stop me from saying something, but I couldn't place why.
Well, that's it then?
Day 10 is massacre in every route. Well, yeah, it's the same massacre like the Sal massacre. We all know this. If we've gotten this far in password. But yeah, it was like... Yeah, day 10 for every route, but... The day 6 was individual deaths. But...
Now we know there's just the 9 of us in the house. Unless there's going to be a mysterious 10th person showing up later. Shouldn't be any cause for alarm, right?
Precisely. Now, if I may, I will take my leave now. Laundry calls.
Benson strode out of the room, his dishes from breakfast held neatly in front of him as he disappeared into the kitchen. Chances were he'd take the exit from there out into the rest of the house to avoid coming back into the dining room. Sal? You doing alright?
I have a bad feeling about this.
Hit it right on the head, buddy. There's also metempsychosis. That was the word for day 11. I forgot about that. But, yeah. So, bad feeling about this?
About what? I don't know. Just something's not seeming quite right with me.
Like, feeling sick? Or...
No, more like an uneasiness. Something feels wrong.
Well, if you figure it out, then we can or if you can figure out what it is and we can help, let us know.
It's probably nothing, but I shall let you know if I figure it out.
Well, that clears that up. Roswell's all happy now. Well, I'm going to wander around the mansion. See everyone at lunch. Russell tries to bust in through the vault. FBI, open up!
Oh god, that was rough on my throat. Roswell left soon after in the same way Benson did, disappearing into the kitchen.
I'm going to get changed for the hot tub.
Oh, I forgot about the hot tub.
I'll be coming too. Tyson?
Yeah, I'm coming. Part of me worried about what was going to happen, but I just had to have faith that Ty would be alright. Okay, I think we can skip the parts that we've read through. Are you guys okay with it? Let me get confirmation. Because I'm kinda... I just want to see what happens at the end. We all have seen this part for Tyson's route. So... we're waiting. Yes. One yes. That's all I need. Okay, cool. You're skipping the skippable parts that we did. And keep in mind, this is Tyson's route that I had to go back on. So we are cleaning dishes because we're nice. We do glass first because my mom told me that glasses should be washed first. And I agree with her the more I've done it. Oh, I forgot to click it. Oh, now we get Benson to bust in. Benson, hello. Hello, Master Dave. Doing the dishes, are we? I just wanted to help. I didn't expect you to. Well, I didn't hear you come in. Sorry. Should I have let them to you, or... I think I did them properly. They look fine to me from here. Have you made any progress with your little task? Not yet. Just been here, doing this. I gestured behind me to the sink and the dishes that were on the rack to dry. Oh, I see. I'm sorry, did I do something wrong? It's not my place to say, Master Dave. Not angry, worried. Oh, you could just call me Dave. Dave's fine as is. Very well, Dave. I hope that your decision at breakfast was the right one. What decision was that? I love how they're like, I hope the decision you made in this was correct. Nudge, nudge. Oh god, can't imagine if I chose that originally. What decision was that? Exposing Oz to your friends. Oh, well, they had a right to know, right? And it's bad to lie. Agreed, Dave. Lying is fundamentally bad, if sometimes necessary. The things parents say to their children to protect them from their hard truths of the world in infancy. And the lies adults say to one another to protect not only themselves, but those they hold dear. Lies can be wielded for good or evil. A lie to save someone's life, for example. Good or bad. This is different. What? Forgive me, Dave. It is not my place to be interrogating you on such matters. Merely raising a point in philosophical importance. Oz entrusted you with this information, a sign that he was willing to let you make a decision. Whether or not your decision was the correct one, who can say? Oh. Do not misunderstand me. I harbor no ill wills towards you, my boy. There's no need to be alarmed or ashamed. Okay. I did have one question for you, though. How did you get in here so quietly? Okay, now we can skip, because, yeah, how much about large houses like this do you know, Dave? Skip, skip, skip. We talked with Roswell in the library.
This time he's more pleasant. Before he was super salty about the whole, like, situation about getting lied to, I guess. So, hidden rooms, huh? Interesting. Interesting how? Well, if the master of the house is here, that's the only place he could be, right? Because we hadn't seen him yet. Or because we hadn't seen him yet? That, and it explained where Benson would be disappearing to. What do you mean? How he was just scarce? Well, think about it. If he was just sick, he'd just be in one of the bedrooms, right? And there are plenty of those. And we're up at different enough times that we should have seen him leaving to get some medication or even food, right? I guess that makes sense. In any case, secret rooms seems likely. Okay, skip. They get into an argument, they blah blah blah. Okay, now if you excuse me, there's much work to be done. Alright, see you later, Benson. And then he never came back. Okay, now we watched him go out of sight. Check in on Tyson, Dean, and Sal. Okay, same. We talk. Blah, blah, blah. We ask Tyson, because it's the Tyson route. Reach out, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's... Haas is wearing his awesome shirt, which I prefer. And then... we see something. Oh no, wait. I didn't notice Benson until he cleared his throat, just standing off to the side. Children of Tomorrow is the transition. What does that even mean? Whatever. Oh, is that like the transition music? I don't know. Whatever. Just standing off to the side. Oh, maybe translation for the shirt. That's probably what Koromaru meant. Whatever. So didn't notice, cleared his throat, just standing off to the side. Ah! Fast forward. So, regrettably, I'm unable. You should have to question your friends on this one alone. Oh, alright. Don't fret. I'm sure you'll find a way. I hope so. Shall I give you some space, Master Dave? And space we get, as we continue on and talk to Haas. It was dark. For some reason. And Haas gently slid the bookshelf. Oh, this is the part where we get to ask questions. Oh boy, we're gonna ask him about rabbits. I'm gonna love this part. I am learning, Dirk. Nice. That part doesn't affect the route. I wonder if the questions do. But anyway. It was dark. My eyes started to staring forward to make out anything further down, despite not being a complete darkness. It may as well have been. Why is it so dark down there? Fast forward. But there's no lights. Only candles. Fast forward, we go to the vault, we check things out, we get back up. I winced as my eyes adjusted to the light. One last thing. Blah, blah, blah. They talk. Tyson does his thing. My phone was in my hand constantly, checking if it was time to head on out. In the back of my mind, I wondered if this was a mistake after all. Was I just about to go marching into my death? Should I back out? As I lay on my bed waiting, all I could think about was blah blah blah. I figured that I should bring my flashlight. I wasn't sure if, well, the batteries are still good. I should have asked Benson for some new ones. With how dark the library was, especially at night, I was going to need more than just my phone's torch mode. Okay, we go to the library, we talk. I sat in the chair opposite of him, eyes flicking across the candles before looking him in the eye. I'm sure you have many questions, most of which I'll answer for you soon. I'll get the obvious ones out of the way first. Okay. After that, you can ask me whatever you like freely. But I'll tell you now that I'm not going to waste any time answering inane questions that are irrelevant to what's going on, understood? Fast forward. That in and of itself is such a long story. As much as I love stories, that one isn't like the one of the child-friendly ones I'm so fond of. Oh. Okay, fast forward, blah blah blah.
Indirectly, the concept revolves around trauma. Survivors, blah blah blah, experience, suffer through the eyes, let's keep going. Nothing different has happened. Those words must have been the same. Significance to how you live through those experiences, blah blah blah. Agreed, but I'll state that specific one. As the only person present that knows how the systems behind the vault operates, I'm the only one that can program those passwords in. Oh, I'm gonna definitely ask about the rabbits, the forest, and the knives. Plus something else, blah blah blah. Keep going. I'm going to question him. Do you hate rabbits? Here we go. Almost immediately, Oswin's face contorted into a tight frown, looking disgusted. Did you say rabbits? Should, he's gonna like jump up and like strangle us. He's like, God damn it. The boar across from me grumbled, almost growling before he set his eyes upon me again. I hate rabbits. The more you know. Racist! Racist! The flinch reaction of me calling that out in jest like I would with my friends fell flat. There was no smile that came after, just another intense frown. Perhaps so, but I despise them all the same. Oh my god, wouldn't it have been interesting if one of the characters, like one of the friends, was a rabbit? Case K comes to Hammond Manor, Oswin flips his shit. That's gotta be the next, like, Foreign Affairs. Foreign Affairs 2. The Urushaharas go to the Hammond Manor. But I despise them all the same. But why? Childhood stories, mostly. Our family had some interesting takes on some classics. Either way, I do not trust them. Oh, well. Alright. We're gonna ask all the good questions. What's in the forest? Trees, mushrooms, I believe some remnants of an old watermill, if you follow the river upstream. Oswin was mentally checking things off a list in his head with how his gaze unfocused, and he nodded upon stating such a thing. What's in the forest specifically isn't all that special. It's just a forest. I'm gonna ask about the mill. Is there a mill in the forest? I don't tend to wander around the woods these days. Not anymore. Why not? Why at all? Everything I require is within the grounds of the mansion. To be frank, most things entertaining for me are indoors over the wilderness anyways. Of course I'm going to type the word knife in at the end. So with that in mind, unless you have pointed questions about the woods, I can't help you. Knife. Knife. Also, it seemed to be thinking over something, addressing me. There's a particular knife that I own that I'm not quite fond of. It's a hunting knife, quite hefty, but... But what? Well, it typically just sits about the place. It's used as a plot device, if you will. I don't remember the last time I saw it. I believe Benson may have been cleaning it. Anything about your sister? We can't talk all night, Dave. Right, that's why you'd be best at asking things that pertain to what's immediately relevant. But how am I supposed to know what is and what isn't? Could you tell me more about Felicia? I fidgeted in my chair wondering if I had said something wrong. You'd be best asking something else, Dave. You guys are horrible.
Oh, the survivor. Definitely gonna ask that. What happened? Austin's gaze went sad suddenly, eyes dipping to the desk as he spoke. The survivor. He sighed out again, bringing his... I asked about what happened to Felicia, but he was like, no. I know very little, but what I do know is the only reason the one survivor pulled through was that they were a natural host. Okay, at least we can know that it has to be hosted. Natural host? Ones whose body has a certain affinity for the disease or other thing. Not to be confused with a symbiotic relationship, but it's essentially the same thing. That which killed everyone else had, as far as I was aware, no effect. I lost my access to the subject before I could run away any additional tests. Truth be told, I don't even know which of the 100 it was. Yikes. I would be interested in getting a sample of their blood for my research, but alas. Who's Dorcas? Oh god. Why their blood? That's sort of creepy, blah blah blah. I remember the rest of this. Keep going. Next question. What happened to Felicia? You seem to be struggling. Can you blame me? There's so many things to ask. Yeah. Poison, gun, axe. Axe. Did you hear me? You guys are asking all the wrong questions. I have nothing to say to that. Oh, okay. You have a gun in the mansion. Both Benson and I own guns. His is a fairly smaller model. I believe he's modified it a little bit with a silencer or some such. Mine's quite big and packs a punch. He's like, it's like dicks. He's like, our guns are like dicks. His is small and mine is big. Mine's quite big and packs a punch. A revolver. I was always fond of how they looked in old cowboy movies. I don't tend to use mine though. It's mostly for aesthetics. I typed gun already. What is wrong with you? I have to admit, but part of creating cures does not involve playing with some fairly volatile materials. Materials that, if administered to an individual, would be toxic. Not that you needed anything fancy if you were that determined. Even household cleaning products could do the job. Oh. Okay. Gun. Cap sensitive. Type the word gun. Why? But let me ask you something, Dave. Oh, what is it? You haven't taken anything from my lab, have you? What? No. I didn't even know something was missing. Oh, I see. Gun. What do you guys want me to ask? Guns are, how do I put this? I wouldn't say a coward's weapon, but they are efficient. What do you mean by a coward's weapon? Do they keep people safe? Cops use them, so... Oh boy, this is an awkward one to ask. But so do many others. It's far too easy to get a gun these days. Easier still to get a knife. If I was at the point where I wanted to kill someone, I feel as though I'd want the satisfaction of being up close and personal. What? I think we're going about crazy. Ask him about the cameras.
Secret rooms. But why? Doesn't that make it easier to get caught? Potentially, but consider it from another angle. At the point at which you're resolved to end someone's life, you're prepared to throw consequence to the wind. If need be, I would gladly go to jail if I hit that point. Not that I have any intention of getting caught, mind you, but I accept it as a possibility all the same. Okay, this is crazy talk we have. I'm gonna ask about the cameras. Why the cameras? For the most part, the surveillance system isn't all that important. It's mostly for my benefit, and even then I'm borrowing from things I left behind. Isn't that my call to make if it's important or not? Perhaps, but it is my house. Not only that, but if it hasn't been made abundantly clear by now, I'm willing to assist you to an extent. Just trust that, if you want to know that, I'm going to want something more pointed, or more specific, or just something different about it. I take no interest in explaining how it works, but if you want to know other things, you need only ask the right question. I already asked him, he's not related to Roswell. They're like, I think it was like cousins? Or not even sure if it was cousins, but family, friends. It was not like immediate. Metempsychosis. Oh, this one's gonna be fun. I'm about to make him fly off his rocker with this one. What's metempsychosis? Also inside, shaking his head briefly, seemed like he wasn't going to be answering that question. Typing Benson is funny. I'm gonna type in "I don't know Jack!" exclamation mark as a pun, and he's gonna flip. Any history on Benson? What about Benson? He's just very Benson-y. Benson-y. Really? Hey, I don't know. Haven't interacted with many butlers before. Is he what normal butlers are like? As far as I can tell, yes. I'm gonna ask about Jack. I don't know Jack. You seem to be struggling. Can you blame me? There's so many things to ask. Who's Jack? Osmond inhaled deeply through his nose, keeping eye contact on me. Boy. Yes? He's about to flip. Try again. Oh, God. This is terrible. I'm not asking about the vault. I mean, we already asked about it last time, so. I'm going to ask him one more question, and it's going to be about the medallions. Then we're going to move on, because I can't be here all night. I never really cared for the medals, if I'm speaking candidly. Seemed like a waste to embellish symbols on precious metal for no reason other than it looked nice. Oh well. I guess that makes sense. Do they mean anything important, though? Not as far as I'm aware. Just fanciful things to sate the want of someone with too much money. But then why search for them? Why do anything in any game? I don't know, for content? You do it because it's required, and you do it as long as you find it enjoyable. Beyond that, there's no obligation. And we're moving on. Okay, stay silent, now we skip. Blah, 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 things happen. There was a sense of emptiness that accompanied his comment, eyes lingering on me while I got up. Okay, blah, 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 things happen, we hit day 9. Normal stuff happens until we say, "Good morning, Benson." Oh, good morning, Benson. Good morning.
There was something extra stiff with how Benson was standing this morning, and he was eyeing me carefully. Is everything okay? I believe so. How did last night fare? Yeah, it was a lot of fun though, Tendo. I'm just getting tired because it's like 11 at night for me, so yeah. Oswin doesn't believe in timelines. What would happen if they met Yuka from Repeat? Oh my goodness. I haven't played Repeat, so I wouldn't get the reference, but oh my god. Throwing in different VN characters with each other is just absolute insanity. So, how did last night fare? Oh, I looked around checking to see if there was anyone else nearby listening to him. Seemed like only Benson and I were in the foyer. Oz? Indeed. Oh, it went all right, I guess. Good. Well, at least I hope so. What do you mean? What do you mean? As it turns out, I've been given leave for a vacation of my own. Effective immediately. What for? Plot convenience, my boy. By the way, you have to pass on the password requirement on day 10 for the event to happen. Yeah, that makes sense. Man, that 11 hours I did feels like baby walk to what Dirk does. No, what I'm doing is baby walk. Alright, so thanks Ace for telling me. As it turns out, I've been given leave for a vacation of my own, effective immediately. Oh, that's great. Benson's stern expression immediately told me that perhaps it wasn't so great as I thought. It wasn't so much of a request as an order, Master Dave. Oh, okay. I'm on my way to pack a suitcase right now, actually. Within the hour, I'll be well on my way. How long's your vacation, then? Until I'm asked to return. Until I'm asked to return. With a sigh, Benson teased the end of his mustache, looking away thoughtful. I suppose this might be a little odd for you, but know that the master of the house rarely makes such requests. I can only fathom a guess as to why he's made it, too. He's refused to elaborate when I was told this morning. Oh. The two of us stood looking at one another before Benson looked away again, shaking his head. No matter. I suppose that whatever is to happen is to happen. I wish the best of luck to you, Master Dave. Wait, is there something you could do before you leave? Any last advice? Benson looked me over, stoic before looking me in the eye and speaking with a measured, serious tone. Survive. As best you can. That is spooky as hell. There was something chilling about how he said it. So much so that as he stepped around me and out of sight, I was frozen on the spot. Yeah, nah, that's definitely what makes sense, Ace. Survive? I was meant to just survive? Okay, back to normal. Continuing on. Blah, blah, blah. I shook my head, a slight smile forming. The consistency was nice, if anything. Continue. Told the others that he was still around, but they didn't have the burden of supposedly being some chosen one that might see death before it could happen. Blah, blah, blah. Fast forward. Made some sandwiches. Happy times. Everybody's having sandwiches. We all fast forward. If Benson was heading off, it seemed unlikely that he'd do the dishes before leaving, especially if he was going on vacation. The others must have already decided that who was going to do the dishes in that case, unless they didn't know? I wondered back, blah, 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 fast forward. Stay quiet. Sit next to Tyson. Doesn't matter, but whatever. Keep going, blah, blah, blah. We watch anime bays, have fun, we talk. I don't know why, but I think part of me wanted to try and impress Tide despite not being the best at games to begin with. Blah, blah, blah. 9, right?
Orlando's... Wait. Sure that works. Wait. It's only burgers, right? Sure that works. Thanks, pup. There's what? Orlando started to count on his fingers. 9, right? 9? Why 9? Well, the 7 of us, plus Benson, plus, well, the owner of the house, right? Oh, right. Did I not say? Say what? Oh, I ran to Benson this morning and apparently he's gone on vacation. Just like that? Oh my god, I'm thinking of a stupid Ellie Goulding song where that's that's the hook of the song, and it's just like, and just like that, the breeze, and it just like goes crazy. I don't know. What was the name of the song? Oh yeah, Still Falling for You. It's not the song from 50 Shades of Grey. It's a different song. It was from a different movie, but movie kind of, I don't know what happened to it. Just kind of disappeared into irrelevance. Man, I'm stupid. Anyway, just like that. Just like that? Apparently, yeah. Well, that would have been nice to know. Why didn't you say earlier? I guess I got distracted, but good thing we know now, right?
Well, can't explain about him getting some time off, or can't complain about him getting some time off. Life of a butler must be a full-time gig after all, right?
50 Shades of Grey. Oh boy. You don't know what 50 Shades of Grey is? You are nice and perfectly innocent. It's good to know that you don't know. Yes, Dirk, yes you are, but we accept you and love you for being dumb. Aw, thanks. You could just Google it. But maybe on a private search browser. Oh god. Do you not know what 50 Shades of Grey is, Kamaru? If nobody in my chat knows what 50 Shades of Grey is, I would be scared for you guys. Anyway. Oh, that's true? Dirk, what the frick are you saying? About 50 Shades of Grey? Do you guys not know what 50 Shades of Grey is? Don't look it up then, Ace. Do not look up 50 Shades of Grey. No, don't. Don't look. If you're under 18, don't look up this 50 Shades of Grey. Please, I'm telling you, do not. There's a movie from... I thought it was only 3 books, Tendo. I don't know. There's literally a movie from 2015. There's 3 movies. It's bad. It's very bad. Basically, horny novel. That's all I'm gonna say. Very, very horny. Alright, so that's true. Okay, 8 people. That's easy. Alright, so continue on. Normal, blah, blah, blah. The sexy scene. Oh, no nakedness. And we get to brush Tyson. Ah, it's so adorable. Brushing Tyson's so wholesome. Feels good, pup. You make the same sounds when I did it for you. Should have been able to tell from my tail, right? Isn't it just like extracurricular activities then? I'm trying to think of what visual novel would be the closest representative to it. It's different from any visual novel I've played. It's not a visual novel. 50 Shades of Grey is a book, but I'm trying to think of the storyline, what it closely would be relevant to. Definitely not extracurricular activities. Amorous, maybe? Think Amorous. Think of the same quality of Amorous, but as a straight, horny book. People have yet to amaze me. True. Alright, so fast forward. Skippy. Okay, we go through our crazy dream with
Dad. Okay. We have hit this point. With Benson now gone, it wasn't an option to expect him to make me one if I asked. There wasn't any guarantee that he would have been awake at this time anyway. Thinking it over again, the thought of coffee made my stomach churn. It wasn't Dad's coffee, and for whatever reason my mind had decided to play that trick on me. Having anything but his blend wouldn't be fulfilling. Blah blah blah, fast forward. But he isn't even here anymore. Oh. Just something Benson asked me about. But he isn't here anymore. Oh, he asked me a couple of days ago to do a thing that I've forgotten. Huh, must have been pretty important for you to lose sleep over it, right? Important enough, at least. Better question, why are you awake? Fast forward, Tyson looks with us. It is quiet. With Benson gone, I wondered if I'd see more of Austin around. After all, without a butler, he'd have to show up at some point to get food, right? A sudden ding, blah blah blah. I warmed my hands on the mug before me on the counter, letting my mind wander. Should I have just stayed in bed? Okay, fast forward. Someone's going to prepare breakfast. I think we did this option. Blah blah blah. Skip. Okay, phone. Just in case I need to call someone, or use someone on it. I guess it could be used as a backup notebook, but that's only an option so long as it stays charged. Sorry, I hit the table. Nobody knocked on my door. By the way, Haas is innocent. He's just trying to help Benson. Yeah, I could totally tell it's Jack, Ace. Okay. Alright, so... Fast forward. Oh god, we flash back to Tyson being murdered. This is what people were referring to by somebody got slashed and murdered by somebody. And that person was probably Jack. Oh god. If they were talking things living in the forest, that brings us back to a bear again. Think a bear could have done all those small marks?
What about a fox?
No sooner than the words were out of Dean's mouth, I had an epiphany. Something I remembered Oz mentioning from when we had our chat in the library. Oh, this is gonna be good. What about a rabbit?
Rabbits? It had to be some part of feral. It had to be some sort of feral rabbit to start biting someone repeatedly. Unless you were bad at hunting, Tyson. Never hunted before, but ain't letting something bite me more than once.
Since he got a medal, it was on the river. Jack was near a rabbit. Jack was near a rabbit, yes. Yeah, no, Tyson is near a rabbit, yeah, that makes sense.
Besides, if it was a rabbit, I'd just...
Ty made a gesture akin to snapping something in half. Gross, but he had a point. I remembered rabbits could be quite small, and Tyson was strong enough that it seemed like that'd be something he could do.
What if it was a case of going hungry?
Speaking of meat, I'm actually starting to get hungry.
I've gone longer than a night without food. If it was a couple of days, sure, I might have considered it. Well, guess we could be thankful that there's no reason for us to worry about anyone going hungry, right?
Right. Fast forward, other clues, the medal, blah blah blah. Fast forward.
So, what don't you know?
Oh, Roswell, you scared me there.
How did I?
What do you need help with? Struggling with something? I think so, yeah. Do you mind helping me out here?
Sure. What's on your mind?
I handed my notebook over to Roswell so he could read my notes on what I've discovered early on the day. But I hadn't gotten around to recording anything with Sal yet.
There isn't a lot to go off of. Is that what's bothering you?
That, and I'm worried about Sal.
What's wrong with Sal? Is he sick?
Well, not that I know of, but if he's the one that's behind, you know.
Killing people, you mean?
Accusing Sal, or anyone for that matter, of murder still didn't sit right with me. Well, but I nodded all the same.
Well, why don't we just ask him?
Well, he's by the pool, so I suppose we could?
Great. Then let's head on over.
Oh god, it's gonna be like Benson, but with Roswell instead. Roswell led the way towards the pool, taking my hand and his, dragging me along.
Sal, we're here. We're here? Sal?
Roswell's voice dropped as he asked, but all we got was a grunt from Sal in reply. He wandered over and put a hand on Sal's shoulder.
What's the matter? Oh, nothing. Don't worry about it.
Roswell stepped back so Sal could stand up with his shoulders slumped. Sal, what's the matter?
Nothing. Like I said, just thinking about things. Like the hit Eurovision song from 2020 from Iceland.
Kill me now.
Dave said, he was worried about you. Now I kinda am too. I'm honestly fine. Just... Dave took me upstairs before, and now I'm just remembering some things that I'd rather not dwell on. That's all.
Anything we can do to help?
Not really. I'm just concerned. Now, do either of you happen to know anything about sleepwalking?
Sleepwalking? What, like being a zombie?
Hey, zombies are completely different.
Different how?
Well, for starters, a zombie is a dead thing. Sleepwalking is just autonomy while you're in a dreamlike state.
Okay.
It's just that you're asleep, but you're kinda not. Almost like you're on autopilot.
That doesn't sound so bad.
Not normally, but there are some reported cases of it being problematic. Like those people that are sleepwalking listening to suggestions to others that can interact with them.
Maybe that could be. Maybe that now that we said that there's a ninth person in the mansion or whatever, that might make Jack be able to hypnotize him, because then Sal would know about the ninth person. Otherwise, if Jack tried to hypnotize him, he'd be like, dang it, he doesn't know about the guy. And then make him kill Dean instead. I don't know. Suggestions.
It's almost like, you've heard of cordyceps, right? The fungus.
The fuck?
No?
I think I remember it coming up at some point in one of Orlando's games. At least I remember something yelling that out when he was in a dungeon once.
Possibly the same thing. But let me tell you why this is important.
Well, Jack does know about Oswin. I'm saying Sal wouldn't know. So if he tried to hypnotize him to kill Oswin, Sal would be like, who? I don't know. But I still think Jack would have been the one that murdered. Whatever.
Cordyceps is fondly used as almost like a zombie fungus, and not far from the truth.
Zombie?
Right. The mycelium of the fungus starts replacing the tissue of the host until it affects the brain. Once it's in there...
Sal and I looked at each other. I wasn't sure if he was following, but I was a little lost. It seemed like Roswell had noticed too.
How about this? Imagine something that could take over your mind and tell you to do something. That's basically how cordyceps works, and that's kind of how sleepwalking works too. Unsuscepting host, something parasitic giving commands, then bam, the same thing. Well, okay. Where does that leave us? Depends on that. Depends on if that helps Sal or not, right?
Maybe. I wonder if I've been sleepwalking. And if I have, if someone's been controlling me.
Like a puppet? Who'd be doing that? And why?
I don't know. I just don't want to wake up in the morning and find out I'm responsible for a massacre of my friends.
I gulped at the prospect, finding myself wondering, could that happen? It sent a chill down my spine as I shook off as Roswell continued the conversation, paying me no mind. For what it's worth, you're strong, Sal. Strong enough that it'd probably take a lot for you to kill someone. Even then, if you did, it's not like you'd have meant it, right? So, I wouldn't worry too much. Even if you had been sleepwalking.
Roswell.
I think it's safe to say that Sal isn't the one killing people, Dave. He's worried about the idea as much as any normal person would. Even I've been worrying about it. Sad face. Even I've been worrying about it.
I see.
Well, hopefully that helps. Meanwhile, I need to go help Haas with something. I'll see you two later.
Sure. Sal grunted again, and soon enough, Roswell headed off. Okay, now we can continue on to the remaining parts. Blah, blah, blah. We talk with Tyson. Life happens. It happens through trauma, but we're not going to guess the password. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Is there a pattern? Input password. I'm going to give up. Here we go. With a sigh, I backed away from the keypad and chewed on my notebook. Let me see if I have a notebook to chew on. Am I doing it right? With a sigh, I backed away from the keypad and chewed on my notebook, which I need to put back now. Crap. All this for a comedy gag. It was fine. Nothing was working, right? This just meant that nothing bad was going to happen. Right? Oh boy. I made my way to my bedroom and ran my hands through my fur. I was tired, and I was at a loss how I was feeling. You chew on the pen or the pencil. Oh god, it actually is crunchy. Fuck. I'm gonna get lead, cancer, or whatever. Something. I'm gonna get some sort of poisoning from this. There, the joke has been complete. Much better. Oh my god. I made my way to my bedroom and ran my hands through my fur. I was tired and I was at a loss as to how I was feeling. Today had ended up on a bust. Maybe that was a blessing in disguise, all things considering. Death cap situation from a pencil. No! Maybe that was a blessing in disguise, all things considering. Either way, I was exhausted. So, fast forward. Ties in his underwear, he hugged me, leaving his hands on my waist. So, we doing this or are you too tired? I don't know. No pressure, pup. If you ain't ready. No, I want... Well... He rested his chin on my shoulder, moving his hands up to my chest. Really? No, you're right. I'm still not sure what I want. He pulled away, and I turned to face him. Don't worry about it, pup. Let's just get some sleep.
Okay. We jumped into bed and cuddled for a bit until Ty fell asleep. For me, though, I lay there with my thoughts, listening to him snoring. I don't know how long it took me to get to sleep, but it did happen. You said it took only 2 days. You lied. What sleep I got was restless. Despite the comfort of the bed, everything running through my head kept me from staying down for too long. I sat up suddenly in the bed, having heard a crash somewhere in the house. A crash somewhere in the house. Ty yawned and sat up next to me, shooting me an annoyed look. What? Or what? Shh, listen. The next moment we heard a scream, a panicked yell coming from somewhere in the mansion. The fuck? Ty and I jumped out of the bed and rushed out of the room to join the others. Oh god, it's gonna happen! Oh shit! What's happening? What's happening? Ah! There was no sense in asking, but my panic prompted the question in any case. It seemed a few of us were in shock of what we were seeing. Everybody's so sad. Roswell was on the ground, trembling, and he looked injured. Sal, on the other hand, looked to be in a trance, hands gripping an axe dripping with something vicious and red. Is that...
Whoa, Sal, what are you doing?
As Dean made a go for the axe, Sal shoved back, but Dean didn't budge.
Sal, the hell you think you're doing?
I was frozen in place, eyes looking to Roswell. The longer I looked, the more I noticed he was bleeding, and quite a bit too. I thought Oswin was the one that died. What? And Haas is shirtless. Ooh, Haas shirtless is. Anyway. Guys, how do we... What should we... Help Roswell, obviously. But before any of us could move, Dean yelled out in pain. Are you fucking kidding me? He was stumbling back, clutching his shoulder, where it seemed that Sal had bitten him, blood dripping from the wound on Dean's shoulder and from Sal's teeth. I was frozen, watching as Sal reared back with the axe, and in the next moment, a pained yell echoed in the foyer, drowned out through the sickening squelch as the axe was removed from Dean's neck. Everybody's dying. What the fuck? He fell to the floor in a heap, heavy, but most importantly, right on top of Roswell. Dean's yell was replaced by the panic squealing from Roswell as he tried to scramble away, but was now pinned by Dean's corpse. Ty held me behind him, acting as a shield between me and Sal. Haas and Orlando were holding each other's hands, with Orlando clinging further to Haas's arm, both horrified of what they'd just seen. I've obtained a deuce CT, god damn it. I thought Oswin died. When Sal turned back to Roswell, something in me broke. Freeing my feet so I could move, I shoved Tyson and scrambled to close the distance. He made to grab out for me, but the shock gave me enough time to get out of reach. Roswell! I reached out and he reached out to me as Sal raised the axe. Dave! But it was the last thing he said as the axe came down and silenced him for good. I stood there shaking, partially covered in the spray of blood that rose from the impact. As calmly as he had done to Dean, Sal withdrew the axe from Roswell before turning to me. Sal said nothing, but Tyson was soon to cross the floor and stand in front of me again. Working himself up for a fight, Orlando shuffled forward, having peeled himself away from Haas, closer to Sal. Sal, why? Why did you... As much as I tried to reach out to Orlando, Tyson was much better at keeping me away this time, but it seemed as though Sal made no effort to pursue me or even Orlando. Oh, shit. Silence. Nothing but silence. For the faintest of moments, I thought maybe Sal would raise his axe against Orlando, but instead it slipped from his hand, landing with a clatter on the floor. Sal. He stared through Orlando, and sure enough, he wandered away, heading outside through the back door and into the yard beyond. Orlando collapsed in a heap on the floor, passing out. There were no words. Sal had just killed Dean and Roswell. It was all I could smell. And as I wiped my face, I looked at my hand, covered in Roswell's blood. My eyes went to their bodies, still on the floor, and all I could do was stare at the carnage. Massacre indeed. What do we...
Call the fucking cops. Now!
Right. While Haas fumbled with his phone and Tyson was busy yelling at him for something, I wandered off. I let my body go into autopilot to head towards the only other person I knew existed in the house that might know something if they weren't already watching. I made a beeline for the bookshelf, pulling the 2 books to the passage and heading down into the dark. Here we go. Oh no! Here we go! I was thoroughly on autopilot, retracing my steps from when Haas had showed me the way the first time. Wait, did something just flicker? Oh no, that's just the screen hopping up. Making my way down to the lower level of the library, I stopped by the table that we had our chat. I wasn't sure if I was going to blame Osman for what had happened, or if I just wanted information. As I looked over to the vault door, though, it was open. Huh. There was nothing stopping me from moving forward, so I pulled the door open and headed on inside. The hallway was dark and it smelled musty. How often did this get used anyway? I kept my hand on one of the walls as I made my way down, feeling for any light switch or something to make my walk easier. I must have put more weight than intended on part of the wall as I felt something give, and fondling the dark for what I'd found, I gripped the handle of a large door, opening it carefully. What lights that were on gave off a soft glow, ambience more than anything else. I wasn't really sure where I was until my eyes adjusted a bit more. A hunched figure sat in the chair against the far wall, lit only from a dull glow from the monitor. But there was that familiar smell again. I thought I escaped it from the foyer, but it was here too. Edging forward, I reached out to the hunched figure sitting on the desk. The knife! He was murdered! But when I spun the chair around, it was just as I thought. Oswin had been killed too. The knife was still sticking out of his chest, but everything was dry. He hadn't been killed recently. Either way, he wasn't behind what Sal did. But it was one less person we could rely on for help. I left him there. There was no point in moving him, and to be honest, Roswell and Dean took priority. I could deal with his body later.
The fuck did you go?
Ty snapped me out of my daze, grabbing me and yelling at me at point blank. The next moment, he was hugging me, sighing out and growling at the same time. Nowhere. Sorry, Ty. I could hear the hollow tone in my voice, a tiredness I had forgotten I was capable of. He grabbed me by the arm and started leading me out of the conservatory and back downstairs. The knife looks identical to Jack's. I knew it! It had the grooves. The spikes look the same. Exactly. Jack, I'm telling you, Jack hypnotized Sal. He saw him sleepwalking and then just was like, "You're gonna kill everybody," as he goes on and then murders, Oswin. Jesus, it's bad. God, you had me worried. Ty wasn't being gentle, dragging me down the stairs and holding on to me almost as insurance that I wouldn't go walk about. Seriously, why did both of you run off on me? Sorry, I just thought...
You shut your mouth and stay where I can keep an eye on you. Haas, are the cops coming or what?
No reception. After I went outside to check, I've tried a few times in different spots, but nothing. No signal anymore.
Just wait till he plays Haas's roots. Oh no. But why didn't he kill Orlando, Ty, or Dave? Roswell would be too smart. Like, I'd say Roswell, it's like he knows too much. Dean, maybe he knew too much about the plant side of things and poisons. I don't know. So, fuck, what the hell were we supposed to do? At this point, we looked over to Orlando, who was starting to stir, picking himself up slowly off the ground. What's happened? As he was rubbing his head, his eyes caught sight of Dean and Roswell still on the ground a ways, his eyes widening slowly as he came to realize what happened. No, 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 no. No, no, no. His cries devolved into wails and sobs as he turned away from the sight. Let's get you outside, huh? He helped Orlando up, and the pair of them headed towards the backyard, leaving Tyson alone in the foyer. His grip didn't budge, though, and it started to get painful from how he had been pinned in place. Ty... The fuck were you thinking, huh? Wandering off like that? I was just trying to... What if something fucked up happened to you? Huh? You saw what just happened. I know, His voice was lowered to a snarl, gripping me even tighter as he got up in my face. Get your ass into gear, we're going outside. I stole a glance at Dean and Roswell, but found that my eyes were glued to them. Ty's grip loosened off so I could wander closer, but I crossed half the distance before the smell of blood hit me in hard and my eyes found its way to the growing pool of blood they lay in. Hey. I didn't respond, taking this all in with some degree of fascination that couldn't have been healthy. If anything, the sight was too surreal that it just didn't seem real to begin with. While Tyson wandered over, he turned around carefully, easing me away from the scene. Much in the same way that Haas and Orlando had left the foyer, we followed suit into the backyard. All four of us stood just outside the back door, wondering what was to happen next. The air was cold but fresh. If anything, I felt bad for Tyson being the only one in his underwear, but all of us were in varying levels of undress. Okay, gotta find that fucker and keep these two safe. And find a way to contact the police. Ty's chest was heaving, and he was working himself up. I wasn't even sure if it was legitimate anger or fear, maybe some worry spurring his actions. Ty, what do we do? You hang around here and don't fucking wander off again. I'll be back. Wait, no, please don't. He was already heading off towards the pool, looking as if his head was on a swivel. I might try and find a spot to get some signal. I could have sworn I had one every other day we'd been here. You two stick together. Safety in numbers. What about you? What about Tyson? I'm going to go and follow him so he doesn't, stay safe that way, right? Okay. I won't be long. Trust me. And sure enough, with phone in hand, Haas followed after Ty. Orlando had sat down on the steps leading down from the back porch, propping himself up with his hands as he massaged his knees. Didn't know what to say, but he had his jaw clenched as the tears ran down his face. Every time he tried to open his eyes, he just stared forward before shutting them tight again a moment later. As we sat there, I stared off into the distance as well, taking it all in. It was a mistake, as the weight
of what I'd witnessed firsthand started to sink in. Maybe the shock of it all was finally wearing off. My breath began to quicken. The tightness of my chest doubled down and made my stomach churn. I felt like I was going to be sick all while hyperventilating. I put my head between my knees, groaning out and covering my head. It was only when I saw him jolt that I lifted my head back up, following his gaze across to someone approaching. Sal, no! He lumbered closer, mumbling something to himself. Even as he stopped before us, he continued mumbling, but for the most part, it just sounded like incoherent noise. What was this it? Where were we next? Once again, I found myself frozen as his eyes settled upon me. And then Orlando. All the while his mouth moved as if he was talking to us, but no sound escaped his mouth. His presence lasted for minutes, maybe hours. It was hard to say with how I was feeling. But sure enough, he continued forward, dragging himself up the steps and lazily heading back inside. When he was gone, Orlando and I stared at one another in shock. A moment later, and we were clinging to each other, terrified. You two, all right? Tyson kicked the ground, frustrated. Neither Orlando and I answered Haas, huddling together. Still no signal. At this rate, I need to run down to the main road and try seeing if there's anyone on the road to try and ask for help, or even see if there's a better reception out that way. You're going to go down the driveway? When we found Sal, yeah. He was just here. He went inside.
The fucker better not have touched you.
No, but...
So, what's the plan?
The plan? Outside of calling the police? Oh, goodbye, Ace. Great seeing you. I don't know how much longer this is gonna go, but hopefully I can get to the end of it, and... yeah, I'll peace out after that. So, have a good night. So, the plan. Outside of calling the police?
Yeah, we making a run for it before he gets us too. We block him off somewhere until the cops rock up.
No one seemed to have an answer. There were a few shared looks, but overall, none of us budged. Aw, thanks for the compliment, though. Love your videos. Where would we go? Is there anywhere where we could run to? I eased myself away from Orlando to almost collapse backwards. I wanted to scream. I wanted to lash out at something. All the emotions I was feeling was very, very quickly taking its toll. What do we do? I stood in silence, wondering if there was any other option shy of finding a place we could call the police. Safety in numbers meant that whatever we chose to do, we'd all need to be present. Which is how we found ourselves all heading around the house towards the main road.
This fucking sucks. This fucking wandering around in my underwear.
Yeah. Ty shivered, the cold starting to get to him. If I had a shirt or something, I'd have offered it. But I was just as naked as he was. Hopefully, we can get somewhere warm soon. He gave me a look and threw an arm over my shoulder.
Soon, pup.
Can we talk about something really quick? Talk about what? We're all in varying levels of not okay, but does anyone actually know what happened?
Oh no, they're in the forest. Watch out for Jack the Ripper, please. Sal went fucking nuts. Murdered Roswell and Dean. You were there.
I mean, why, asshole? Have some tact. As if to punctuate his point, Orlando sniffled and wiped his face. If Haas wasn't guiding him forward by the hand, chances are we'd still be at the mansion.
Who the fuck cares?
I do, Sal. Like...
Haas was worked up and it was interfering with his ability to put his thoughts into words. Why would he kill two of our friends? And why those two friends? Is that what you were wondering?
I mean, it's odd, right?
There was a pit in my stomach that was making itself known again, and I doubled over. Was it appropriate to throw up? To scream? Haas's question hung in the air for a bit before Orlando answered. It was to protect us, right? It's got to be.
What?
Sal was kind. He is kind and nice and sweet too. He had to have a reason, right? While I tried to get my nausea under control, I just let things play out. Let people say what they needed to, and hopefully getting to the vent would help. The next moment, the world was rumbling, followed by the sound of an explosion somewhere in the distance. The fuck was that? I don't know. Is everyone okay? Haas sped a little further down the driveway, looking around. He didn't say anything, but he looked worried. Eventually, he moved further on and out of sight. He was out of sight before I could ask if he was going to check. And so we waited. Tyson huddled close to me on one side with Orlando on the other. Oh, God. Time continued to pass, and as it did, my worry grew. I didn't know how long this driveway was, but eventually... You're back! Despite the relief of seeing Haas again, he looked even more troubled on his return. What happened?
The main road.
Part of it... It's... Wait, what?
It's gone!
Are you freaking kidding me? I looked between Ty and Orlando confused, but it seemed as though both of them were just as confused as me. It can't just be gone. Where did it go?
If I had to guess, the explosion we heard blew up part of the road along with a causing it. Fuck, I need to speak. If I had to guess, that explosion we heard blew up part of the road along with causing a landslide. Either way, getting over that rubble seems possible, but...
We're trapped here? Sounds like it. But fuck that. Come morning, I'll just keep going until we find help. But what until then? Do we return to the mansion? It's cold out here, and I wouldn't mind some pants. But then there's Sal. I'm not scared. Fuck. I'll go get you pants if that's all you're after.
Where does that leave us?
Well, I'm not spending the night outside. I'll sleep in the greenhouse if I need to. But we'll have to go inside at some point, right? And how long will that be? Tomorrow.
That doesn't help us right now, and it's dark. Plus, it's well...
Fine. What if I move the bodies?
You'll move them?
But that's tampering with evidence. Fuck it, I don't care. Having them is just... There is just... He trailed off, gesturing to the space before him, although the meaning wasn't lost on us. We trekked back the way we came. It was still late and having nothing to show for it. The walk was spent in silence. As the house came into view, our pace slowed, knowing what still awaited us on the other side of the door. I'm going to type something into my reminders. Yeah, my reminders very quickly. I just had an idea for one of my FVN videos that I'm going to do next week. Or I'm not sure if it's going to be next week, but... Other reminders, perfect. Sorry, I'm interrupting the flow of this. Alright, back to the story. As the house came into view, our pace slowed, knowing what still awaited us on the other side of the door. I looked at Ty, who seemed reluctant to move, but upon looking at me, he snapped his head forward. He was stiff, marching forward towards the door and out of sight. So we waited. Before long, he appeared, looking disheveled and bloody, but the deed had been done. The moment I walked in, the smell of the blood hit me. My eyes trailed to the floor, seeing the drag marks heading into an adjoining room. I can't. Everyone else was moving around me, seemingly in a trance as they headed towards the stairs. The smell of blood here was suffocating. My vision was going red, and I felt as if I was drowning in the smell. So much that I could taste it. Orlando reached out and took my hand, giving it a gentle squeeze. Come on. I want to see them. I felt his arms around me in a gentle hug before he broke away a second later. Tomorrow. Please, I'll come with you. I just need time to prepare myself. By the time we made it upstairs, Haas corralled us into a single bedroom, just so we were all in the same room. It might be safer to stick together tonight. For what's left of it, at least. Yeah, that makes sense. Tyson handed me a shirt and I threw it on. I didn't even know who it belonged to, but it was better than nothing. Orlando and I watched as Haas and Ty pushed stuff to block the door off. I could only imagine why. All that was left to settle in for whatever rest we could get. Ty settled in, pulling at his fur. He looked a mess, and no wonder. I sat down beside him, not sure what to say and half expecting him to cuddle into me as I just waited. But nothing. Ty, My voice was barely above a whisper, but he shot me a pinned look, gesturing for me to stop. It seemed he was mourning in his own way. Or maybe he was finally breaking now that his immediate danger was over. Maybe part of it was the job to do tomorrow. All I could do was nod, trying to find a spot to get comfortable in. As I closed my eyes, I felt him shift behind me, resting his back against mine. It wasn't cuddling, but I got the impression this felt safer for him. Eventually I passed out, the stress and fatigue catching up to me again, if only for a couple of hours. I was able to get something in the way of sleep. Day 11 again? Oh my god, I felt like I was floating. My mind was still replaying the events over in my mind while I slept. When I woke up, I was sitting on the sofa in the living room. Dean and Russell were standing nearby, looking at me expectantly. Upon seeing them, I felt my stomach lurch. Guys! It seemed like Dean wanted to say something. But when he didn't, Roswell tried, neither of them wanting to say anything. Instead, just looking at me, waiting. I thought you both... When I blinked, I was alone again. My body felt heavy as it changed down, but my feet took me to the kitchen. Be it because of instinct, but it was just the next closest room. I don't know. Dad? He wasn't there. I knew he wouldn't, as he, like Dean and Roswell now, wasn't around anymore. But that he didn't make the pain in my chest go away. It didn't shake the sick feeling welling up in my stomach. In a flash, it was all gone. The sound of loud banging is what roused me from my sleep, and I looked to the others in the room also waking up. It lasted for all of a second before that confused stupor wore off, and we looked at the door with dread. The banging turned into door rattling, trying to open. What came next was the distressed voice of the person trying to enter, sounding almost frantic.
Everyone, where are you?
I looked at Ty, and he quickly shook his head. Haas was eyeing the door wary, and Orlando had his hands covering his mouth, also watching the door. Soon enough, he left, his voice fading quickly.
Shit, he's awake.
Well, shows that the soundproofing exists, though. Could hear him right outside the door. But chances are that he's been searching for a while. What makes you say that? The tone of his voice? He did sound panicked. Maybe scared. I don't know.
Or he's trying to do a sin.
Well, he can't stay here forever. We're going to have to leave eventually.
I know that. Fuck. Just... Alright. When we're all ready, let's head on out.
All of us mentally prepared ourselves before Tyson and Orlando moved to the barricade from the door. There was a moment of hesitation from Orlando when he reached out to open the door. But when he did, we kept close together. We reached the stairs and looked down. Sal was huddled on the floor. He was cowering, talking quietly to himself. Quiet enough I couldn't make out what he was saying. The trail of blood from where Dean and Roswell had been dragged off into the adjoining room was unmissable. The stain of red on the tiled floor we were heading towards. Some must have heard us descend the stairs, standing and turning suddenly to face us.
Everyone, there's been...
Ty stuck an arm out to me, advancing, shepherding me behind him almost.
Dean and Roswell, they...
He took a step forward. The three of us took a step back while Ty remained firm.
Why did you...
I could hear Ty start to snarl.
You fucker, you did this!
From behind Tyson, I could see Sal's arms go limp in shock.
What? No! Dean and Roswell, they're... I tried to, and... But...
He took a step forward, and Tyson took another forward as well, his voice raising.
You tried to what? I found them this morning, but... It was too late. CPR wouldn't be enough, so...
He scrambled for his phone in his pocket, pointing to it.
I tried calling for help, calling any of you, but no signal.
Honestly, seeing you all alive was a relief. It's then I realized he didn't know. He didn't remember what had happened and what role he'd played. The words caught in my throat, but it was Tyson who picked up the slack.
Yeah? You're relieved we're alive, huh? You're planning on doing us in too. Or you're planning on doing us in too.
What? Haas spookily approached us. Hey, something about this doesn't feel right, Tyson. Maybe back off a little.
Fuck that. I'm not letting him kill anyone else.
Sal took a step back upon hearing what Ty had said. In fact, his words echoed in the foyer with none of us saying anything.
What did you say? I couldn't. I couldn't. I didn't.
He took another step back, his head slowly turning to the stain on the floor he was inches away from.
Sal, do you not remember what happened last night? Looking at Haas, he shook his head slowly. He almost seemed stunned by the question. Oh, damn. This is going to be,
Who do you think killed those two, huh?
Tyson! Haas grabbed Tyson quickly, but just as quickly pulled away when Tyson went to punch him. When he was riled up like this, suddenly grabbing him wasn't a good move.
Please, what happened?
Last night, Dave, wait. With his attention on me, Tyson took the chance to move away from Haas and approach Sal. His tone was spiteful, and he punctuated his sentence by snarling even more.
You want to know what happened last night, you piece of shit? You stand there all scared and confused when you did it, and I don't fucking buy it. You took an axe to the oinker, fucked up Dean with the same axe, and went for a casual walk after.
Sal took a step back further, his foot landing in the smear on the floor. He was followed, Tyson increasing his snarl.
So those two bodies in there, that's all your fucking handiwork.
No.
No, you can't.
Could it have? With a few more steps back, Sal turned tail and ran. Out the front door and out the sight. Sal, wait! Orlando, buddy, you can't be serious. But... remember, he killed two of our friends. He's unstable. It's dangerous. I'm sorry, but... Haas gestured in the air, unable to finish his thought with words. What do we do now? We have been able to do something, right?
Go put on clothes before you get cold. Then, we go from there.
So we're splitting up?
Fuck no, we go together. It's only pants and shirts, right?
Together we went upstairs. It was odd. Three of us outside while the last one went in to retrieve a piece of clothing. I kept peering over the railing, watching the front door as if expecting Sal to come back. I didn't even get to go into my own room as clothes were brought out to me while I was in a daze watching the foyer. Once we were all dressed, we headed down for breakfast. We filed in, keeping watch just in case we were going to get jumped the moment we entered the room. Once we were in the kitchen, we stopped to look at one another. I don't think I'm all that hungry. Ironically, I'm really hungry right now. But we can't just not eat, right? Normally I'd agree, but if we don't try and keep something down... Ty wandered over to the coffee machine and flicked it on before grabbing some bread from the pantry.
Here.
He held out a slice of bread to me, and I gingerly took it, staring at it while I held it onto it with both hands.
You gotta eat something. I'll get coffee going.
But why?
We're family. Someone's gotta look out for you, and I'll be damned if it's not going to be me.
Okay, if you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna quickly peek at the password, wrong window. I'm gonna peek at, how long the code goes for, just to see if this is, multiple days or something. Because I have a PC version of it. And with that, 0.25. I'm not sure if this is the bad route if we just started it early. Who knows? Okay. Oh, I have to do the stupid decode thing. Oh, God. Don't worry, this will take me a minute. We're gonna take a little break. Everybody go take a break, take a piss, whatever. Jumping jacks, anything. Script version TXT. Oh, 735. I wonder what that means.
Okay, don't worry. This is just gonna take me a second. Oh, I misspelled it, that's why. Okay. Here we go. 11C. Let me see if I start 11C right. Okay, so... Okay, I'm gonna open it up with text edit and see the line is like the same. This is interesting, we have an A and a B route, so... Someone's gotta look out for you. I'll be damned if it's not going to be me. Okay, so we are in the 11C route. And there's nothing past A11, so... Okay. Oh god, we got a long ways to go. Yeah, we are at the beginning. Jesus Christ. Oh, this is the bad route, so it goes on to day 12. Alright, guys. I think I'm gonna... This is interesting. We have unveiled a terrible situation, and this is going down the rabbit hole. Well, literally, a rabbit hole. So, I think I'm gonna stop here. This is the first time I've stopped in the middle of a day, but... Be damned, I am not gonna stay up till like 2 a.m. doing this. Maybe I'll finish like tomorrow, next week. Probably more so next week, just so I can... get some rest. Turns out we have entered the nightmare scenario, and Lord, this is insane. I'm gonna save it as nightmare scenario. Night. Okay. Sorry about this, guys, but I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this in one night. Holy crap, this is a long stream. It's almost 4 hours. So, we are going to end things here. And I can finally eat, go to sleep afterwards, and just relax. And god derp, your username makes me want to buy Doritos and chips right now. And I think my local store is open until like 1 a.m. I could, if I really wanted to. I thought they're open till 3 a.m. sometimes, but who knows. But yeah. So we got this route by revealing Oswin and not knowing the password. So, as a result, Benson left, and it's just the four of us in a nightmare scenario. Thank yous for the streamies. No problem. So now that it's saved, we are going to go back to the main menu. So, Couch me outside with the bad ending routes. How about that? Oh god, kill me. Now I kid. But anyway, I think this will be like a reoccurring thing when I get the chance to keep this in rotation. I'll probably finish 11C. It's supposedly ending C according to the code, but it should... I'm going to finish that the next time I stream it. So maybe next time I stream. And then from there, whenever it updates, I'll probably add that on sometime. So if people want a spooky route, that's our spooky route. I think I may be one of the only people to have done this. I don't know any other channels that have done that, the bad ending. Correct me if I'm wrong, because there could be somebody that's done it, I just haven't checked. The only people I've known who do password are me and Lied. Me, Lied, and I think that's all I know. So, anyway, this is going to conclude password. Oh my god, I am tired after such a long stream. After a long stream, I can barely speak, and it's making my head go crazy. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for being here and being so supportive of the channel and whatnot. And until next time, take care, guys. Oh, Decker Link has played some. I am not ending it yet. When you finish, it says end of demo, not bad ending. Yeah, it's not gonna say bad ending though, because it's not the end. So yeah, see you next stream. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, take care, guys.